going to start on reading, and I'm on page 147. Antharus, the Blue Dragon Speaks. And it's between Ariel and Antharus. So it says, "Greetings, my love. I am Antharus, the Blue Dragon. You and I have known each other for a very long time. Our former friendship has endured the tests of time. I have returned to Earth from the Pleiades about a year ago and spent time at your side once again, even though you are not yet able to see me with your present level of vision. Yes, I left your planet 100,000 years ago, when dragons became feared and hunted. This was a time when great numbers of people on the planet lost their connections with their divine source. That error became the second phase of what you call the fall in consciousness, when humanity entered further into the density and duality. Elizabeth, I want you to know that you and I are good friends from a very distant past on this planet, when dragons were honored, loved, and appreciated as guardians and protectors of your civilization and the Earth. Because of the quality of friendship you and I shared for a very long time in Lemuria, I have now returned to offer my deep friendships to you again, and to bring my contribution to the transformations of your planet in ways you could not yet understand. It is my intention to assist you to embrace more magic and fun in your lives, and soon, my beloved, you will begin to understand what I am speaking of. I now ask you to allow yourself to access the memories and the remembrance of the wondrous times we used to have together, and how much fun we used to create. As you would imagine, I am a light being who has been living in the fifth dimension consciousness for a long time by now, thus not visible to those who have not yet had their inner sights opened. I have maintained my 30-foot stature, and my wings are spread open. You would need a measuring tape of about 75 feet long to reach from one tip to the other. And it says, in the Lemurian time, I was a leader of a group of dragons who faithfully and graciously guarded your palace and many wondrous temples. We as dragons enjoyed our service to the life of hundreds of thousands of years in glorious time of Lemuria, when all the life was perfectly harmonious. In spite of our great size, people did not fear us. The children delighted to come and play with us. We often allowed them to sit in a safe place between our great wings and took them for flying rides over the land. I'm just going to check my phone here just to be sure. That off. Make sure my volume is down. So he would allow children to ride. You too, Ariel, like the children, would enjoy sitting in a safe dent in the bone structures between my wings, and together we would fly great distances at great speeds, soaring through the skies of the motherland. Today, within the consciousness of your present society, even I was totally three-dimensional and physically solid. Such fun would be considered quite dangerous and unthinkable activity. In our time, fear did not exist on the planet. When fear is absent, total safety exists. You often used my body and my flying abilities to transport yourself from one place to another. One could say in the present day language that you sort of used me as a private taxi service. But in those days, there was no such concept. It was my total willingness and pleasure to take you wherever and whenever you wanted to travel. Think of it as a mutual cooperation, as two friends taking off together for shared fun and enjoyment. Also understand that in those glorious days before the fall of consciousness, people did not exist in a totally dense world like you do today. Almost everyone could raise and lower their levels of vibration at will between the third and the fifth dimension frequency according to the activities they wished to play with. When you came flying with me through the skies of the motherland, both of us would raise our frequencies to a fifth level, thus becoming quite light in vibration. This is why there is no danger in falling, as we both had total control of our bodies in view of the present density that humans have integrated into their bodies. Flying through the skies on the wings of a dragon would not be only dangerous, but also impossible. In our time, flying, teleporting, levitating were accomplished through a common knowledge that everyone took for granted. People never even considered how life would be without those abilities that were part of your divine nature and your birthright to enjoy for eternity. In our lives, about the time of departure of the dragons into other dimensions, humanity lost much of their ability for experiencing a life of ease and grace. What was natural then would be considered magic today, and the grace with which people lived their lives back then gradually dwindled into a mere memory of the past. Today, unless we bring these truths to humanity again, your ancient memories are completely veiled under a thick curtain of fear and forgetfulness. Today you're yearning to know the way to manifest this magic again in your lives as you did in the ancient times. And for those choosing to embrace their full enlightenment and self-realization through ascension in this life, these gifts will be yours again to enjoy. The magic you once knew will return for you to enjoy in even greater measure, because you have been deprived of this ability for so very long. And this time, dear ones, you will never again take those gifts for granted and misuse them as was done in the past. The understandings you have gained from all of the lifetimes of experiences disconnected from your divine nature will keep you on the path from this time forwards. The lifetime spent suffering and struggling will reinforce this understanding in a way that mere teaching could not have. Experience is, after all, the best teacher. And that's why we got to go through hardships. We got to go and we got to, like I said, we carry the memories. There's a reason for it all. And that's why I say face it and go through it. Stop trying to avoid it, run away, pretending it doesn't exist. I can read your thoughts, and your mind is racing 100 miles an hour asking what you can do and where can you go to have me materialize physically in front of you. I feel your excitement, at least. You are not afraid as many would be. This pleases me. Well, my beloved, the time is not appropriate yet, but hopefully within the year or so, I will have the opportunity and permission to show myself to you quite tangibly, so that you can see me with your physical vision and remember me. I have made my abode at this time quite high on the south side of the majestic Mount Shasta, in an area where it is quiet, and I can live undisturbed, as I am not visible to anyone. All is very pleasant. Actually, where I live now is close to an area where I used to enjoy spending time of my free time in the time of Lemuria. The fourth dimension aspect of the mountain is a place of exquisite beauty and comfort. Some day, when your inner sight opens more, you will see and enjoy it. You will be living in two worlds and eventually in the third world and much more. Ariella, how did it come about that dragons had to leave this planet? What really happened? Antharus, as dragons, we possess full mastery of the elemental realm. This means that we were and still are equally at home in the air, on land, underwater, and even engulfed in fire. If you were to look back upon the Earth history, you would see that almost every culture makes various references to dragons, at least in stories or mythology. I used to remain humble here, but I must state a fact. The beauty, the power, the majesty of the dragons were such that many humans who had strayed from their connection with love and their divine source became envious and decided to bring us under the dominance of their arrogant spirit. Many thought that they would possess and control us and use us as they pleased. And then it says, few beings on earth at this time could match the intelligence, compassion, strength, beauty of the dragons, perhaps only the beauty of the gentle unicorns. Dragons are great lovers of freedom, having attained even then a great level of spiritual mastery. There was no way that we would allow ourselves to submit to such enslavement to the will of primitive humans. Yes, I say primitive, as it is what it was to us. Because dragons were masters of the elements, it was believed that we possess a certain kind of magic which could be transferred to others. Almost overnight, humans and dragons became adversaries after hundreds of thousands of years of mutual love and cooperation. Of course, it was not all humans, and you, my beloved, sought with all your might to protect dragons as much as you could. You were one of those who secretly provided food, shelter, and sanctuary to many of us. Dragons were vegetarians, contrary to popular mythology and beliefs. In exchange for sanctuary, the dragons offered great protection and kinship to their benefactors and companions. Because of your influential position at the time, you did all you could to stop the massacre and enslavement of dragons. But you were surely not able to stop the ignorance of people and interfere with their free will. I remember how much grief this caused you at the time and for a very long time after this. At some point, humans decided that dragons' magic must emanate from their blood, as we had such great strength and longevity, and then the hunt for the blood began. Adversaries now became real enemies as the human race endeavored to slay every dragon they could find. Many dragons perished, while others sought sanctuaries where they could, mostly in very remote regions of the world. This attempt to hide from our slayers contributed to our image, our image as solitary creatures rather than a social being we once were. The extreme temperatures of our new homes changed the color of our skin and its appearance. Eventually, the dragons that were left were invited by the galactic spiritual hierarchy of the time to be transported to the Pleiades. And this is when I chose to leave the Earth in search of a friendlier home planet. Many of the dragons that had not perished chose to go to the Pleiades and some of the other host planets, so they had to leave. And like I say, everything's about survival. Originally, dragons were greenish gray color with a skin texture similar to that of an elephant. Our ability to control the elements allowed us to evolve to a scalier, reptilian-like skin you have seen in illustrations. The color of our skin became associated with geographical areas of our own new homes. It was not uncommon to hear that a blue or green or even a red dragon had been sighted. The dragons kept their distance from human populations as they could no longer trust them. Their vast numbers dwindled to a precious few. Everywhere there is a great loss, like this in any world, it is felt throughout all the kingdoms, and this loss was no exception. The humans realized the era of their ways much too late. There are many places where the earth ley lines intersect. Some of these places allow one world to connect with another. You may have heard certain expressions that refer to the lifting of the veil or the mist, and I always talk about the lifting of the veil. And it's happening more and more and more, and people are seeing things. And if you're in certain areas where there's a lot of powers, like crossing of ley lines, or you're where cities under the earth are by higher beings or beaming up energy, then it's going to lift those veils even more. More spirits and things are going to come to you. And a lot of people are attracting all kinds of spirits and things. You may have heard certain expression that refers to lifting of the veil or mist. In certain places, at certain times, it is possible just to do that, to literally cross over into another or parallel world. And there's people that do this, they don't understand it. And I've told stories about people I know that did that step into different places and back. Most of the dragons who did not leave the earth made their way to these doorways and are now living at peace on earth, but in another plane or dimension, unseen by the third dimension. And this is where the Sasquatch or Yeti or whatever crosses in and out. There's portholes. And it comes in from the fourth dimension to do things and goes back. And they're higher evolved beings. There are still a few dragons in your world. They live in remote caves, caverns, and pits. Those who have chosen to remain are patiently waiting for humanity to awaken to the truth that all beings and all species are part of a great brotherhood, and that one species is not less or more than another. In the meantime, their energy is very healing to the planet because it is so elemental balanced. Fortunately for them, few have been sighted, and most stories are met with disbelief. At this time, many dragons have returned to assist the planet and humanity to regain the balance with the elements. Without this support and that balance, the Earth humanity could not make the necessary shift into the higher dimensions without great disturbances to the elemental planetary forces. Of course, many of us are here, very physical, but invisible to your sight, as we vibrate at a frequency of the light realm of the fifth dimension. This way, we can do our work in peace, undisturbed by the gaze of humans. We know that more than 99% of the people on the planet would experience great fear if we were suddenly seen, especially in large numbers, and once again we would be hunted. We also know that there will come a time, and this time is not far away, when humans on the planet will reconnect with various species of their divine nature. They will once again perceive all sentient beings as various and equal aspects of creation. We will once more become visible to all, as love and true brotherhood reign among all of those who will be living here. And in the Keys of Enoch, it talks about people who are going to move into this, and they call them the children of Israel or whatever, and it's part of every tribe on the planet. We're going to come together under one tree. We're going to unite as human beings on the earth, Mother. Ariella, in my heart I long very deeply for the time when earth will become a peaceful planet again. I long to experience love and true brotherhood with all sentient beings as a natural way of living. I long to see an end to the human suffering and the animal abuse. I speak that there are millions upon millions of animals abandoned and abused by insensitive humans all over the planet. And this knowingness brings much pain to my heart. Antharus. I know your love and I know your heart. I also know how much you love all sentient beings, all animals, those of nature and elemental kingdoms. I also know that you will not be afraid when you see me because your heart is open. This is why I will show myself to you soon, as you open your inner sight a little more. Though I will be at a higher frequency when you see me, I will be very physical in that frequency, and you will perceive me as physical. I will lower my vibration enough that you will be able to see me clearly and hopefully be able to feel me by touch. Ariella, I have in my mind a very special place where I always think I will have the surprise of seeing you when taking a walk there. I would be quite it would be quite a safe place for us to meet. No one would ever see us or expect anything. What do you think? Antharus says, yes, I read your mind. I know what that place is you are thinking about, and you go there quite often. I have occasionally accompanied you there, especially when you go alone. Though you are not aware of my presence, I send you love and protection. You have noticed that often you fall asleep on the ground when you go there. Ariella says, yes, Antharus. It is the magic, my love. As you are resting and sleeping and your spirit leaves your body, we have a conscious etheric chat, you and I. Adama and Ahnahmar also join us quite often. We all work on the energy fields of your physical body while it is sleeping. And that's why I say ask them to doctor and heal and work on your body energetically. That's why I'm telling people now, when you go to sleep at night, ask to go to the fifth dimension, to Saint Germain's temple and the blue or purple flame, and to have healing and downloads and all kinds of stuff. Because your soul can go there and do a lot of things. Ariella, I know that I usually feel quite good after I fall asleep there. I am aware of Adama and Ahnahmar come walking with me in the forest, but I did not know you are offering often presents as well. So you know them well. Antharus, of course. Adama and Ahnahmar were family members in the time of Lemuria. They were my close friends also. I guarded all of you, including your children. Aurelia, did you go inside the mountain of Telos, or did Adama and Ahnahmar meet you on the outside? Antharus, well, both. When I first returned to the mountain about a year ago, I made a point to communicate telepathically with Adama, and he came with Ahnahmar and a few others who greeted me to welcome me back. Of course, this is done in the fifth dimension level in our light bodies. We also met in the Pleiades from time to time. Adama goes there quite often. Adama knew that I would return, and he told me, while still in the Pleiades, that you had returned to the mountain again, and they were working more consciously with you to bring their teachings to the surface to prepare the way for the eventual emergence. I was also invited to come inside the mountain, which I did. I am quite tall compared to those of human form, even to those living inside the mountain, who are much taller than those of you on the surface. There are places inside the mountain especially designed to receive light beings such as us, and some even taller, so we can meet with other beings of various body forms. Many of the returning dragons met with the Lemurians and members of a few other subterranean civilizations. As they invited us inside, they prepared a very cordial reception to welcome us back to the earth. It was very touching for all of us to receive such a heartfelt and warm welcome back. We have a great rapport with the Lemurians. You know, not all space brothers of light have human forms like you do on the surface of your planet, but the inner Earth beings are very familiar with all of this. The space brothers come in all shapes, forms, and colors. Some come in like insect like bodies, and many of them in types of bodies you no longer have any remembrance of, even in your wildest imaginations. That's why I say the universe, there's so many kinds of things. Some things you see are really, really good, but you'll think is really, really nasty, and it isn't. But our minds will go there really fast, and the dark side will trick us to believe all kinds of silly things that are not true. That's why I say just focus on the light and stop focusing on fears and stuff. Allow your energies to come up and shift, change, and do all kinds of stuff. And just keep letting it every night. Go to the fifth dimension, to this violet flame and blue flame, and absorb, breathe in the energy. And when your soul comes back in, it recharges and it puts a protective energy around you. You wake up and you want to be in that energy all day. And you want your oversoul to give you the answers, what you need to heal and release with all the challenges and things in your life in many, many lifetimes. Ariella, I'm aware of this. I read some information on that kind of thing. I don't think I would be afraid to meet a large insect-like type of being of light on this street, but I am not entirely sure, I must admit. I met a woman once, a few years ago, who told me that she met with a being from the stars that was about 12 feet tall and had a body that resembled an insect known as the praying mantis. She told me that she would herself have been afraid to see and meet with such a being, but the love vibration that was so exuding from that being was so intense that there was no space for fear. She was able to have a meeting with him without being afraid. It appears that she had a multidimensional connection with that being. Perhaps he is part of her soul family, although she did not say. And this is where in natives we say we come from lots of galaxies and planets. You might have come from the north, you might have come from the east, the south, or the west, and there's a world out there, and maybe it's an insect world, and you're connected to those beings, and you came to this planet to help and do something, and they're connected to you, and they're trying to connect with you. So sometimes when you see these things, they might be very, very loving things you don't remember, but in your mind you're going to think is bad or evil or whatever. And this is where you got to ground and you got to realize there's way more to reality. Are you here? Perhaps he is part of her soul family, although he did not say in it. Are you here to stay for a long time on the earth, or will you be returning to the Pleiades? Antharus. This is not yet determined. I have an intention to remain here for at least the main period of the transition of the planet, which will be a couple of 100 years. Most likely, though, I will remain here a very long time beyond that and continue my service to life on this planet again. And that's where this transition is something for the earth and everything. And there's things here to help us to move through all of that and successfully get into the future. Have a good day at work, Rachel. Ariella, a friend of mine who is clairvoyant told me that the other day that she sees from time to time a very large blue dragon flying at tremendous speeds and quite elegantly in the sky around the mountain. Archangel Raphael told her it was Ariel's dragon. I assume it was you? Antharus, indeed it was me. I know her as well. I know that you are friends. This is why I show myself to her from time to time as I fly through the sky with wonder in through the skies of this wondrous area. I am happy that she was able to confirm my presence to you. You know, when your inner sight opens a bit more, you will also see quite a few things in the sky around the mountain. I am only one of the many, many attractions you will be able to perceive. It will be quite interesting and wondrous. Your I am presence is kind and hesitant to open your inner sight at this time. There is a concern that you might become so fascinated with your new toy or new vision that it would compromise your mission. And that's why some people can't open their third eye. There's something there for a reason. But when the time is, it'll open, they'll know and understand everything. Your I am presence is kind of hesitant to open your inner sight at this time. There is a concern that you might become so fascinated with your new toy or new vision that it will compromise your mission. There is such a longing for you to enjoy the other dimensions that once this opens for you, you might want to spend all your time enjoying your new perceptions and its magnificence, that you would lose your interest in the chores of the daily life and the mission. And that's where there's lots of different kinds of challenges. Hey, Ducky or Dookie. Ariella, my friend Jessica is also quite excited with the thought of meeting you physically as well. I told her what I know about you. We have decided that one day, as we are walking together in the forest of my special place, as we turn the last corner before the clearing where I expect to meet you one day, we will both be taken by surprise and suddenly see you laying quietly in the grass waiting for our reaction and probably laughing in your heart. Antharus, absolutely. You think you have it all figured out? I am a dragon. I am not limited in any way, shape, or form. I warn you that I might surprise you in other ways as well. And it could also be the other place you often go in hopes of seeing the unicorns. Let me tell you, the unicorns know that you want to see them, and I would not be surprised if they would show themselves to you this coming summer. Ariella, you said that many of the dragons have returned. Will they be doing the same kind of service for the earth and for humanity as they did before in the times of Lemuria, or will they be doing something else? Antharus, you know, things have changed on the planet in the last 100,000 years. They will change again, quite drastically soon. One can never go back. And as everything constantly changes, nothing can ever remain the same for a very long period of time. That's why everything is about evolving, evolution. Over and over and over, I say this. This is Telos, and I'm on book 2. It's there when you find my site, and it says Telos book 2. Um, Nothing can be the same. This is where everything is about evolution. I say it all the time. It cannot be the same. I perceive that for the most part, at least for quite some time, our service to life will be to assist your Earth Mother and humanity to rebalance the four main elements within themselves, and then to teach about the many other elements and also need to be mastered. And that's why I say call in all these elements in my Sunday prayer, because you got to call them in, because they got to teach you, they got to help you to reconnect and understand. They're very intelligent. And okay, so I perceive that for most part, at least for quite a time, our service to life will be to assist the Earth Mother and humanity to rebalance the four main elements within themselves, and then to teach about the many other elements that also need to be mastered. As each person gains more mastery with the elements, it is also assists the Earth in her stabilization as well. That's why we got to connect with the Earth Mother. We got to know how to work with her. We got to connect with the divas. There's purple divas, there's elementals, there's many other things I don't talk about. And you invite these in, and you'll feel their energy, and they will teach and show you things. They'll come in your dreams, everything. There's lots of stuff trying to help us. But if you don't understand them, you can't connect with them because you hold up a fear and a block. It's like a big brick wall. They're there trying everything to help you, but as long as you're afraid, that brick wall keeps you separated. That's why in my prayer I tell you to invite this. Get God to bless you, get the universe, Earth Mother, everything to teach and show you how to do this without fear. And that prayer I do on Sunday, it incorporates really, really lots of stuff, and it's there on my videos. You can download and listen to it and learn to pray and stop being afraid and invite this stuff in. Nothing is separated, and everything must work together to attain perfect harmony again on your planet. As a race, you have been quite destructive and inconsiderate to your planet and to the mother who is hosting your evolution. Your planet is approaching a time of great changes. It is essential that all of the elements be in balance for her safe passage. And they're all trying to go into a balance to help Earth Mother so she doesn't get torn apart, so she doesn't get destroyed. She doesn't want to kill everything on the planet. She doesn't want to wipe everything right out. She loves the tree. She loves everything in creation on her, every last energy. And she's trying to move up into this higher. That's why she's got to speed up to from 7 hertz to 11. When she gets up to 11, that's when she's in that new future energy you call the fifth dimension. Our service to the planet and mankind will manifest itself in more evolved way, which much greater unity and with greater love and understanding from all aspects of life to live and work together in total harmony. I leave you now with these thoughts and wishes of good evening. I will meet you in the inner dream state. Call on me anytime you need assistance. Know that I am never far away from you, and I will always be ready to assist you as I did in the past. Ariella, thank you, my dear friend, for the love and for the return. It gives me a lot of comfort to know that you are around. I love you. So now we're going to go into the pituitary and the pineal gland. And you need to understand this stuff, and it's important. So this is chapter 14, page 159, if you have the books Telos in book 2. Greetings to all our beloved friends and family. The shifts are taking place in the human body are multiple, and this is where we're doing so many things, like on a really, really big level. We're trying to download all kinds of new computer hardware, knowledge, future things, and we're trying to get rid of all the old, their 3D stuff, all this stuff everybody is hanging on to. They keep saying they want it, but then they keep hanging on to all this old stuff. They constitute an almost complete rebuilding of the human system and bear witness to the need for an energy matrix within the human body that supports far more energy than the human body have been able to hold until now. There are many teams of beings from many galaxies who are working with the human system to modify and restructure it. These restructurings are coming in the form of empowerments that are being visited consciously and in some cases unconsciously on humankind. And this is where when I bring in energy and clearings and all kinds of stuff for people, big energy comes in and it shifts people. And I'm like, if people could stay in there and not try to manifest all kinds of silly things and let it heal and change and upgrade them, heal their chakras and change their energy and do all kinds of stuff and let the spirits work with them. But people want to manifest all the time. So that energy goes into that, and they're disconnected. And like, where did the energy go? And they don't call in more and more and more to keep healing and changing. And then when I see people, I'm like, how come you're not in the energy? And this is where lots of times people come to me for these things. I do it all, but then they go right back into the same old thing. These restructurings are coming in a form of empowerments that are being visited consciously, in some cases unconsciously, on humankind. For those of you who have given conscious intent to your personal transformations, the changes are much greater. But mankind as a whole is also going through a global transformation, as is the planet Earth. The children incarnating at this time and in the future generations arrive with physical systems that are already modified in terms of DNA, organs, and skeletal structure. That's why I say all the children are already programmed for the future. They'll step into the future in the fifth dimension. They're not going to look at these old practices. If you try to force them to do old practices, they're going to get really mad and angry. And they tell you about the future. They tell you about all kinds of things. And like I say, everybody's in this 3D manifesting this new age spirituality, and they're not connecting to anything spiritual. They're not even trying to understand what they got to prepare to do to lift their energies into higher vibrations. They're just doing all whatever is there. They're chasing the crowd, the glamour, whatever it is. All organs and body processes are being reorganized during this time. Even the physical bloodstream and the blood components are altering. This reorganization has two components. The first is on individual cellular level, and that's where a lot of people are going through sick syndromes, all kinds of stuff. Hey, Sonny Bear. And they're going through lots and lots of stuff, and things are going on, and they're just so much going on that the body and the energy is not matching and coming up in this. At first, the first is on the individual cellular level, as the core of the cell is reunited with the highest levels of divinity of the God self. And this is where you got to want to become God. You got to stop fearing all of that, and you got to step into that higher truth. The energetic matrix of each cell is adapted to a higher crystalline form to allow greater and greater amounts of pure energy to integrate with the body. The physical structures cannot evolve without first opening it to the direct experience of the divine. And this is where you got to give God permission and all these things that come in to help to do all of this. The eons of separation between the physical and third dimensional body and the full spectrum of divine love is over. The process of transformation that is now being entered into must include the divine aspect, or the cosmic alterations through divine grace cannot be made. And this is where people can't move into this. They have to understand that. That's why I'm trying to read this to you all, so you guys can understand what you need to do for yourself and what you have to figure out. In the initial stages of these empowerments, the pineal and pituitary gland play significant roles. The pineal gland has long been an organ of intuition and knowingness in the separate human body. And it says, it is through the pineal that connection has been made with the etheric world, and that's where we open our third eye. In communications that exist in the fifth and higher dimensions, however, the pineal gland fulfills an even greater role and is in fact an organ of communication through mental telepathy. And that's where the angels and that they communicate with us through the pineal. Through telepathy, as the throat chakra has filled the role through the vocal cords in third eye. We don't do content and have discussions through the mind. We speak, we use our voice, we use vocal sounds to do those things. And that's where we use the throat chakra. There have been many individuals with very highly developed pineal glands in the human third dimension. Some of these individuals comprise the ranks of channels and psychics who have populated the early metaphysical literatures and mastery schools. There are also other sentient races on the earth today, namely dolphins and whales, who communicate through the use of this gland. And that's where dolphins and whales, it can read your mind and everything else. The work that is being done today with the pineal gland is global, and all humans on earth are experiencing an increase in intuition. This is where people are getting psychic and things are going on and stuff they don't understand. And all kinds of things. They're seeing things, knowing things they don't understand, and people are freaked out. Increase in intuition and nonverbal contact with other humans in other realms. For some of this is disconcerting, and for others it is the answer to a prayer. For all, the most important aspect of this shift is to focus on the contact that is now readily available with the totality of the self. And this is where you got to stop fearing. You got to really trust. These things are going to come in, but people hold fears, and that keeps everything out. People have lots of superstitions and silly thoughts, and the spirits won't come in if that's where you're at. For all, the most important aspect of this shift is to focus on the contact that is now readily available with totality of self, and the various forms of record keeping, such as the Akashic records, the living libraries that exist in the etheric realms of the planet. And there are places you can go and you can view all your lives, everything. You can go thousands, millions of years back in time, and you can see all kinds of stuff, what you look like a million years or 2, 3 million years ago, what kind of body you had. You're going to be surprised what humans look like. And I always say, ask to go to these schools, ask to go to these sacred places. Say this over and over to people. And if you are doing it for the right reasons, you'll be allowed in. If you're doing it for the wrong, if you're going there to look at other people's lives, to mess around and do things, you won't be put in there. You'll never get access. If you're going in there to learn about yourself and heal and understand and grow and help other people on the planet, then that's a different story. But if you're going there for selfish reasons or for power or for ego, that won't happen. It never will. In truth, the term channel and psychic will soon cease to exist, as all will have the ability to communicate and connect with all the realms. We are grateful for those who have volunteered to serve humanity as true channels for the light, as this service has greatly contributed to the spiritual awakening of humanity. And this is what I spend my life doing. I say anybody can be like me. Jesus said that, Buddha said that, any master teacher will say, yeah, you can be me. There's places you can tap into and have all the knowledge, access everything in creation. You can have the abundance, you can have the freedom, joy, love, you can have every kind of thing. We are grateful for those who have volunteered to serve humanity as true channels for the light. And you have to be. That's why I say be a hollow bone. As this service has greatly contributed to spiritual awakening of humanity, the service that has grown increasingly in the last few decades can be compared to a lighthouse illuminating the way for a sleeping humanity. Nevertheless, we see this service as only a temporary phase in the spiritual awakening of mankind. The time is soon coming when everyone must become the manifestations of their own lighthouse and open up to the skills and gifts that are already resides within their own heart. And you have to go into your heart. In a few years, those who will remain incarnated on this planet will all become fully telepathic. Those who have assisted humanity as channels will continue their service in different ways. Like I say, I'm going to go on. That's why I'm going to live way into the future. And I've always said this. The balance to this increase in the pineal gland is the increase in the sacred heart within the chakra. And that's why I talk about the heart chakra and all of this stuff. And I try to get you to tell God to make it sacred with all kinds of good things for everything in creation. And you got to become that sacred temple. You got to honor, you got to do these things. Like I get prayers in my head and I pray them. And sometimes when I'm finished a prayer, I'm just blown away. I'm like, I don't know where that prayer came from, but whatever it came from and whatever it is, it's mind blowing. It's so deep and it says so much. And some of these teachers and guides and that come in and do this, they just blow me away. I'm just humbled. I'm just like, man, some of this stuff is like way beyond what I could perceive as a human being. The time is soon coming when everyone must become the manifestation of their own lighthouse and open up the skills and gifts that are already reside in their own hearts. In a few years, those will remain incarnated on the planet will all become fully telepathic, and those who have assisted humanity as channels will continue their service in different ways. The balance to this increase in the pineal gland is increased in the sacred heart within the chakra. These two energy centers, which work together, allow the increase of the pineal activity to proceed the vibration of the divine grace. Without the balance and love, compassion, and true respect for the sanctity of others, the increased amount of information could be multiplied by the human ego, and the course of evolution could be stunted once again. In all civilizations that communicate non-verbally, the highest intent must be given to be fully supportive and of surrender to the greatest good of the whole. There must be the highest level of interpersonal nurturing and truth telling also. All must be honored, and the privacy of the individual heart for the level of the communication to be truly open and reflected. In my Sunday prayer, I say, ask your heart to get connected more and more and more with the truth of God, because the heart doesn't lie. The hardest journey is from your brain to your heart and back to your brain. That's what, 2 feet? Some of you have been on this planet for 60 years and you still haven't figured out how to get your brain to connect to your heart, to the God source and the light and truth, and then walk back into your brain and be a clear channel and a clear light and all these things. You don't listen to your heart, you only listen to your brain. Everything gets distorted. The darkness knows this, and they know how to give you viruses, implant you, deceive you, and mislead you in all kinds of ways. That's why you got to really connect with it. I say this is an interdimensional porthole. And this is a holographic machine. And you have to understand how to operate these two things. I teach this all the time. How many years I've been saying this to people. The information received by the pineal must also be validated by the knowingness of the heart. In this way, the true mind is the servant to the true heart, and the opportunity for community and divine grace on the planet is nourished. The pituitary gland holds another role in the evolution of the human body. The human endocrine system has always been the repository of many of the limitations placed on the human during the lessons of duality and separation. In truth, the rise of the autoimmune diseases has a direct correlation to the long-term grief that many a soul has experienced through these feelings of separation. But the pituitary gland is now being released from its limitations, and the physical body will once again be able to regenerate, repair itself to the fullest extent of its energies. And this is where we can spontaneously heal. And it's going to soon happen. Lots of people, like you, what's that, Morjani, that woman who was cancer, and doctor said she was going to die. In a week, she walked out of the hospital. Her whole body from head to toe was cancer. And they activated her pituitary gland and she healed everything. And she was teaching around the world all kinds of things. Again, the energy of conscious intent provides the starting point of these changes. The enhanced organ of the human body will continue to respond most powerfully when informed by the consciousness of the individual. That's why you have to know. You have to have the right things up here to understand. The human system is a complex one, and two organs cannot, at this time, point and be held in separation from the other. Much work must be done on the individual basis of detoxifying and nourishing all organs of the body. That's why I say you got to understand food. You can't be eating junk food and think you're going to become a fifth dimensional being. You can't be eating preserved food that has so many chemicals and toxins in it and think you're going to be a divine being. You have to eat things that are got a lot of silica, a lot of vitamins, lots of nourishment, lots of things to help the brain. One of them is spirulina, another one is chlorella. They do lots for the body. You have to eat liver to get all kinds of things. People are like, ooh, I can't stand liver. Well, there's things in liver your body needs really bad. And you can get little capsules with dried liver in it, and you can take that just like taking vitamins. There's lots of ways to find things and put it in your body. And like I say, some people got into coconut and coconut water and they're overdoing it. And it's becoming more harmful than good. And this is where you got to understand your ancestry and everything. And you got to do this for your body to change its vibration and bring it up and do all kinds of things. So when this pituitary activates, we are all going to start going into spontaneous healing if we are doing everything for our bodies. That's why I don't drink. Because alcohol is poison. And it doesn't do anything. And if you want to be in the fifth dimension in the future, you're going to quit, like even coffee, everything. You're not going to go, oh, well, it's this, oh, the scientists or this and that says all this stuff. It's like, if you know it's no good, you're going to go, sorry, but I ain't putting that in myself. Again, the energies of conscious intent provides a starting point for these changes. The enhanced organs of the human body will continue to respond most powerfully when informed by the consciousness of the individual. The human system is a complex one. The two organs cannot, at this point, be held out of separation from the other. Much work must be done on the individual basis to detoxify and nourish the organs of the body. Communication with organ elements. So there's elemental energies and things that work with your organs when you go to sleep. That's why I tell them to doctor your body. Whatever's wrong with your body, your bones, anything, tell them you want them to fix it. And these are elementals. Their whole thing is to help you to get healthy and everything. So communication with organ elementals to determine what is the best course of each individual to recommended steps. Consultation with energy specialists, healers, body workers is highly suggested. There are many new energy tools making their way to the surface, all of which will alter the way you treat physical, mental, emotional imbalances. Seek these out and utilize them. For now is the time for all to begin to recognize at the deepest level the true gift of the human body is. Your ancient scriptures that refer to the body as a temple of divine were correct or accurate. Your conscious participation in healing and transformation of the body is what will allow you to create the bodies that you wish to live in. And this is really important. Everything I pray and do is about consciousness, trying to get your higher self to realize when you're praying this, and when I'm telling you, you got to ask and do these things. It says, loving your body as a divine repository of spirit is equally as important as loving the totality of your spirit. Everybody wants to love God, but they never want to love themselves. Everybody wants to love their husbands and their kids and their mothers and their dads and their dead ancestors, and they want to love dragons, but they never love themselves. They never want their heart to be a sacred temple and their body to be a sacred temple. You got to figure all of these pieces out like a mechanic and put it together. You can't drive a car without a carburetor. You can't drive a car without wheels. You can't drive a car without steering wheel. And our bodies are those. And you have to understand these elementals are there to help you. And you got to ask them at night to start healing and fixing your body. You got to stop being lazy. And you got to think, geez, I need to pray. I need to ask. I need to do this. And it becomes something you start doing all the time. Only when this is done on a global level with the changes that all of you desire to be made to your food resources and global healing modalities, even now tools and substance with great abilities to heal and rebuild are beginning to enter the mainstream market and the consciousness. It is your continued support of these and your ability to trust in the new forms of healing that present themselves to you, which will allow this type of shift to take place across the planet. That's why I say in the future, no more doctors, no more nurses. And what Jesus says, heal thyself, master. Why are we expecting everybody to heal us? We should be working with energies. That's what Barbara Brennan's book about. Once you learn that, you use it to heal yourself. You teach others. You do all kinds of stuff. The wondrous temples of rejuvenation and healing of old that you so wish for and envision in your future are in fact here now. They exist still in the consciousness of the original builders and designers of these wonders. They exist in the energetic memories of those of you who will experience them in other times. And this is where we're bringing things back from Lemuria and Atlantis and other things. Though they may have been destroyed in your third dimensional aspect, they still exist fully in the higher dimensions, having increased many times in their potential and their original intent and purpose, and you can draw on these energies at any time without great difficulty or monetary expense. All you need to do is quieten your mind, open your heart, and set your intention to connect with the experience of these energies of your own healing, and allow the process to take place. As long as you allow yourself in each day to spend enough time breathing and infusing these energies into your body, the process will be initiated and you will witness extraordinary results. Together, simply through the power of your intent and surrender to divine grace, you can magnetize these energies in your auric field at any time. The benefits their energies provide can be recreated in the present. The form may not mirror the original, but the energy is the same. The crystalline matrix computer may replace the temple of crystals, but the ability is the same. Recognize those tools and healers in your midst and support them. And this is where I do all kinds of things for people, but a lot of them don't support me or anything. I don't worry about it. I keep believing in the universe. Recognize those tools and healers in your midst, support them as they are today. In times to come, you may wish to recreate these temples, but without first recognizing the ancient tools as they are today, and without first recognizing yourself to the fullest extent of who you are today, these potentials cannot manifest. Heaven exists around you now on this planet. In only a little ways it may seem, but give true recognition to all who are working to create this paradise. And you support the potential for global paradise. Do not suffer over what has gone, but celebrate instead what is re-emerging. Be gentle with yourselves, for who else can better love you than you? And then I'll go into chapter 15. It's the spirit of community. And that should be an interesting one. Well, I hope that really, really helps you recognize and understand things. Because the darkness has been doing this for over 100,000 years. When you go into yoga first time, you don't realize the darkness is waiting, and it started using yoga as a way to get into people and insert viruses and all this new age spirituality. A lot of it is to insert viruses in you to keep you asleep, to keep you running, chasing, afraid, doing all kinds of things. That's why drugs and lots of other things are there. When it's abused, you get these viruses. And then you start attracting people and you think it's really good energy. And one day you wake up and you go, whoa, what the hell is this? And they know how to trick. That's why I don't like saying evil. I like saying tricksters. The book is Telos. No, oh, okay. Oh, it's Cindy just wrote it there. The book. I can say we have lots of these books, and the darkness has been planning this, and they had 100,000 years to mess with us. And I was explaining this to Cindy this morning, trying to help her to realize how she did things in the past without knowing she got things inserted. She had experiences, and the dark side got inside, saw stuff, and put the wrong hardware in that interferes and creates. As a child, I think she was really connected to the universe, and growing up with her family, the things scared her, and slowly she got sealed up and disconnected. A lot of us did that. That's why I want you to have this knowledge so you'll stop fearing and you'll start understanding when I do these prayers and that they're really big. Chapter 15, The Spirit of Community, Celestia. Celestia is an elder in Telos and the counselor of the High Council. She's also a sister of Adama. She works a lot with the children of Telos and acts as an instrument for the interactions of the elders there. Welcome home, dear ones. You've all made it back, and so wondrous to see and gather here. It brings tears to our eyes. We perceive you in full radiance of your light bodies and the physical beauty that is yours in the third dimension. There are so many more of you who will also be awakening very soon and returning home to the truth of who you really are. The gatherings take place within the energies, will become larger and more numerous until the very light of them will be visible even in the darkest corners of the surface realms. We have held the space of the energy here in Mount Shasta for a very long time. A great number of you have lived several lifetimes in this area, both in Telos and on the surface, helping to hold that energy. As I speak, most of you present here in the gathering this evening have aspects of your total selves who are living inside the mountain and in other cities inside the earth. For us, it is a wonderful beyond measure to see you now in your physical incarnation because you are the ones who are bringing about the great shift that is so needed on this planet. I would like to introduce you to the children of Telos and other Lemurian cities throughout the earth. They have eagerly waited their time to connect more consciously with you because they hold a desire to teach you more about play. They desire to share with you how to have fun again. So much of your journey now is about reopening your heart, rediscovering these things as children brought you joy. It is now essential that you open your imagination and fully envision the paradise that you wish to create and experience on the surface world. The children are here with open hearts to show you how to create again the world around you from the vision of your imagination. That's why I say you got to have the visions, you got to have the downloads to see what's your future. That's why you have to want to see your future. You have to dream it, you have to create it. Then you manifest it. Then you help the Earth Mother. Then you help yourself and the children and everything into the future. The children of Telos would be happy to be guides in assisting you to enlighten your way. You can contact them right now. These children have volunteered to become your emissaries to Playland and will stay with you for as long as you wish. All you need to do is begin to communicate with them from your heart. They may come to you in your dream time, and you may recognize them around you right now. As many of you who have opened your sight will soon discover, Telosian children have very different lifespans than those who live on the surface. The child that comes to play with you may do not be surprised if the image of the playmate that appears to you is different than you expect. Trust the images that your inner sight brings and trust the messages you are hearing from the children of Telos. They are here to reintroduce you to those parts of yourself that you may have shut down and to that magic of imagination that allows you to create anything you want and to know that it is absolutely real. Imagination is your mechanism for creation. It is not unreal as many languages of the surface define it. You are now rediscovering just how real imagination can be and what extent it can create wonderful or wonders or painful challenges in your life according to the thoughts and emotions you entertain. And this is where you got to master your mind. You have to really, really understand because what you're focusing on, that's what you're creating challenges all the time. You want to change that. In Telos, we create by imagining what we want and then set forth in the energetic terms the potentials to manifest tangibly what we have imagined. Imagination is our key to manifestations. We do so by blending the masculine inspirations with the divine, with the energies of the feminine. Then we nurture and hold those inspirations, those imaginings, until they become manifest. This is what women do for their children and their husbands and their families and everything. Women are really good at it, but they don't understand. And they're always manifesting and doing stuff. When they birth children into the world, they already know things to manifest, and they start putting their minds there, and they bring this together and they manifest all kinds of stuff. And when you have babies, the babies bring in all this energy and blessings. As the consciousness of incarnations being the earth's surface embraces more and more and more divine feminine, these principles of manifestation will again become apparent as the nurturing soul of earth is once again recognized and allowed to reestablish herself in nature and in society. The true inspiration of divine will expresses itself in oneness in your daily lives through the building of community. You are now reawakening to concepts of true community through your exploration of your connections with us. Your family and Telos, wherever any of you are, come together to work, play, and study, or to meditate. Whether it is in Mount Shasta or any other regions of the planet, you form the spirit community. These communities may appear as a temporary event, but they are not. The energy that is generated from each gathering connects with the energies of the other similar gatherings, and a large community is formed energetically outside the time and space. These connections are formed between the soul who participates in the energies of community. Then light is a pathway for more to join in. In Telos, the paradigm we operate within is one of total cooperation and complete sharing of resources. Everyone is taken care of as we share our time and energies to accomplish this. This is a most important principle that will eventually be adopted by the society and governments of the surface, and this is where everything has to be shared. And people have to go into that. It's not about the self and, oh, it's all about me having a big castle and mansion and Rolls Royces and slaves and servants and business and all kinds of stuff. That's what this world is stuck in, and we're going to step out of that. This is the most important principle that will eventually be adopted by the society and governments of the surface. It is in this way that you can begin to demonstrate and live the Telosian model of community as a harmonious gathering of energy. New societal lifestyles are already developing in the country, and many of you are now awakening to the true promise of the ideal of a community. Many more of you are beginning to feel the first seeds of new ideas, new ways of living sprouting in your consciousness. This is one of the most important steps that must be taken to help bring this vibration to the surface and the planet to a new whole level. The fifth dimensional vibration that sustains us in Telos is the energy for the community of the heart. And we all got to agree to come together under one tree. We can't keep fighting and being separate. We have to come together as human beings, not as a race of people or different beliefs and cultures and keep fighting. We got to get rid of armies and cops and all kinds of stupid things and live in harmony. We have taken the step to create a world that we want to live in, and now we offer ourselves as your guides to show you your way. The community of the heart is a place where everyone is in complete harmonic resonance. Any need or want is communicated telepathically, then met by the community as a whole. It is a community where there is no lack, no suffering, because the communal heart energy, the compassion and nurturing vibration is always present. There are the concepts we share. They are the concepts we want to share with you. You are already experiencing this in some extent in Mount Shasta, where so many share themselves on so many levels with those around them. When the great need occurs and many people are required, there are many of you who step into the sharing of the load. And the natives used to live in this way. They used to always help one another. Hey, so natives used to live in this harmonious way, like in Telos, where everybody would come together and manifest and create for everybody. And, whatever you have, you just gave to people because you could always manifest it again. And natives didn't understand money. They just shared and helped one another, and they honored and respected and uses all gifts, abilities, and everything for the highest good. Hey, Tanya. We ask that within every aspect of yourselves and every aspect of your hearts, you begin to expand your consciousness in greater measures to the concept of true community, and to know that you are surrounded by the beings who love you. You may not know all of them consciously yet, but you are beginning to recognize them. You are now beginning to connect on the level with every being that you come in contact with. You are beginning to form communities. Part of my service in Telos is working with potentials. Let me share some with you. Communities are going to form around Mount Shasta in a couple of years. These will be communities where people will come together for the purpose of creating role models that can be shown to other communities on the planet. They will be examples of how humans can live their lives in spirit of true brotherhood, of compassion and cooperation. Openings have already begun to take place on the planet to prepare the way for our emergence from the inner Earth cities and the harmonizing of our lives together with yours. A porthole has begun to open in recent months, encompassing many of the western states of the United States, including an area of Mount Shasta. It is through this porthole that the first inner Earth beings have already begun to emerge and create through their vibrations a pathway through to others. Others will eventually emerge. So a lot of these things are going to open up all around the world. There are passageways that are being cleared in Mount Shasta area that related directly to Telos. There are stargates that are in the first stages of reactivation, and Stonehenge was a stargate. And these things are going to reopen, and we're going to use them for the correct reasons. There are stargates that are in the first stages of reactivation, as well as some that are already in full use around the mountain. The gatekeepers who etherically maintain the energies of these gates are beginning to awaken to their roles and coming together in greater numbers in your dimension. This work is already done multi-dimensionally, but your awareness of it has been veiled. Soon the work will be recognized worldwide. Many around you who have always discounted this kind of spiritual work will step forwards and take on the roles you cannot imagine at this time. We share this with you only to encourage you as you journey forwards. You know that speaking of these wonders to come bring you hope, we ask you to live your lives in this new awareness and experience your evolution with what hope, with that heart, because potential miracles exist all around you. It is up to you to open yourself to them. If each of you would speak to one person that you don't already know and open your hearts to him or her in the same way that you do to us, the surface community of Earth would be born very quickly. The sharing from hearts would expand, and each additional heart contact that is made between civilizations and neighbors around the planet, how wondrous would that be? And that's where it's like we got to teach, we got to help others people to feel safe and do this. True intimacy occurs when two souls can nurture each other with authenticity, spontaneity, and truth telling. Do not be afraid to open yourself to another, for nothing during this time of great awakening and transformation is to be avoided. There is nothing that can truly hinder you on your path of evolution other than limitations. Do not hesitate to open the door into your soul depths and explore the fullness of your experience and emotion. Do not hesitate in a loving and supportive way to hold that same space for another. There is much clearing that must take place, much purification before you will be able to enter into the higher vibrations you so desire and form communities of your heart. Begin to form communities of two. Reach out to each other in a way that you have not trusted before. That's why I say connect over TikTok and everything. Find people all around, meditation groups, anything, whatever it is, try to connect and connect with this spirit family. Reach out to each other in a way that you have not trusted before. Be witnesses for each other of the incredible soul path that each of you has traveled. Only when you can open yourselves to each other in this way are you able then former or to form greater and greater heart and soul bondings within community. And that's where I try to be as helpful in every way and tell stories about myself and that to help all of you in some way. Call on us anytime. We will listen to you without judgment or condition. Set the intention with your hearts fully open to share with us this vibration in which we live so that you can begin to experience it daily. The more you recognize and integrate this vibration into your day-to-day activity, the quicker the vibration of the surface will arise. We are always there with you. Please call on us to be at your side. We cannot encourage this strongly enough, and most importantly, enjoy the new energy, the new vibrations that are transforming your very soul, your very planet day by day. Enjoyment will speed this process along with the magic that is only now beginning to be rediscovered. Call on the children of Telos to come and play with you. Call on them to join with you and share their innate sense of enjoyment and pleasure in the simple act of being. When you are in the darkest states and the struggle seems almost too much to bear, this is when you need them the most. Their joy and playfulness, their creativity, imaginative perceptions of the world around them and around you will open your hearts again to the magical child that resides within you. Laugh, giggle, joke with them. Look through their eyes and clear away the residue of despair from your own. They will cheer you up when nothing else seems to work. They'll bring groups of kids to have parties in your house. The children like to visit you also and gain a greater understanding of what it is that you are experiencing on the surface in your journey in the three-dimensional reality. This is a part of their education. They have readily volunteered to meet with you as a very necessary part of their schooling. We love you more than we can express. Once again, welcome home, my beloved friends. And I think I'll read chapter 16 and probably stop, and then I'll finish this book up tomorrow. Well, we'll see, because it's just about, yeah, I'll finish that tomorrow. We'll see how far I get in chapter 16. So on this page it says, the love of the Earth Mother and the willingness with which she offers to take our pain endows us and every day with the strength to continue the journey. And that's where I say call her in to help take all of these things. She knows how to take it and deal with it and do stuff. So this one's the emissaries of Lemuria awaken to your ancient memories. So they want us to wake up and remember and understand so we can hold this new light, new energy. We need our bodies fixed, our brains, everything fixed. That's why you got to call in these elementals and different things while you're sleeping and going to the fifth dimension, to the violet flame, to the blue flame and other things. And when you get up, bring all this energy inside you. Let them heal and fix you and teach you all about it, especially fixing the pituitary and pineal gland. So this one is Ahnahmar, Hyrham, the member of the scientific community of Telos. So they're going to try to give us some understandings about the science. All you reading these words have connections to Telos. You have all had lifetimes in Lemuria. You are all now among the brothers and sisters who share this lifetime with you. We ask you all to come together whenever possible to reach out to those memories. We invite you to ask for the gathering information to reawaken the recollections of your ancient past. The recollections of your ancient past. We also ask you to send your energies out in search of connections, past, present, to each other and to us as well. And that's why people are connected to this TikTok. They come on and they just blow it off and they go somewhere else. And the universe keeps bringing people back here, but they don't want to hear, they don't want to listen. They think it's difficult, they think it's channeled and hard and everything. And I'm like, no, it isn't. I'm trying to give everybody answers and they're brought here, but they don't want to stay here. and I can't chase them. I can't think for them or anything else. We invite you to ask for the gathering information to reawaken the collection of your ancient past. We also ask you to send your energies out in search of connections, past and present, to each other and to us as well. Open your inner awareness and speak to us in your higher mind, and listen within the deep recesses of your heart for the reply. Each time you open up and trust your own sense of who you were then and who you are now, you are opening a more and more levels of your own multidimensional self. As this trust builds, we are able to communicate with you on a deeper and more varied level. More layers of memory and understanding can be explored and shared with you. You are all awakening again to your true self of divinity, your divine identity. As you awaken, you will find that there is so much more to embrace. All of you are emissaries. So all you people that are learning this stuff about Kizi Enoch and Telos and that, to say you guys are brought to this TikTok for these reasons, and energies and that come through all the time for all of you. And this is where I constantly want you guys to get blessed, and then I want you guys to go out and try to find a way to teach and bless others. I can't be everywhere all the time. I got lots to do. And that's where everybody's got to get over their butt hurt. It's like we got to move up. And if something made you angry or mad, you got to realize there's something inside you need to heal. That's why it was brought up. All of you are emissaries. You are emissaries of Lemuria and of the vibration that is creating openings in this planet in ways that we never knew were possible. You are emissaries for aspects of your totality that you evolve through eons of incarnation on this planet. It is time, dear ones, to incorporate into oneness all of these aspects of yourself again in this lifetime, in these bodies. The more you can open up and embrace all of the aspects of you, the more you will access the experience and wisdom that you gain in each carnation of your soul's evolution. Each time you clear and transform stuck energies that keep you from opening to the totality of you, the more you will experience your soul joy and understanding of the paradise that this planet can return to again. When you travel, share this vibration with everyone that you meet. When you walk down the street, the people that are smiling at you are also brothers and sisters. You know them. In lifetimes that we have shared together on this planet, there exists a oneness that we are all beginning to understand and embrace again. That's where when I go down streets, people, they don't know why they're staring at me. People are driving cars and they see me and they just start smiling. I go in stores and then people are looking and trying to figure out things and they're really confused. People come on TikTok and they just want to smile and they feel so relaxed and peaceful and everything, but they get all paranoid. And I'm like, allow this energy. Um, okay, Mount Shasta is a giant heart that is beaming love to everyone and everything on the planet. She is literally the physical incarnation of the source energy. Our source mountain, our sacred mountain, represent the heart of the Mother Earth and the love she feels for us all. Wherever you are, you can connect with her and feel the love and let it flow out through you to others. That's why I say, become a sacred temple. It'll beam out of your heart. God knows what this is. The earth knows what this is. And we can send energy, purple light, blue light, everything all over the world like Care Bears, and we can send this energy all over, but you got to understand what you're doing. When you're in close proximity to the mountain, you will feel yourself activated by her energies, and you will carry that bond through all of your incarnations. All of you who journey to Mount Shasta have returned here because you have experienced that bond in prior lifetimes. It is this bond that provided the intention of the creation of Telos within your energies and the time in the fall of Lemuria. We encourage you to spend time here, then carry these energies out in the form to the rest of the planet. Cindy was drawn to Mount Shasta before she came into my life, and she wanted to go up there and see if she can connect with Saint Germain and other beings, and she knew there were doors and all kinds of things, and she was drawn there, but the guy she was with, he interfered with something, and Like I say, the universe brought her there for a reason. I, Hiram, the scientist in Telos, I am currently working with members of teams of scientists participating in 3 to 5 year programs measuring energies around the Mount Shasta. We are measuring what is going to make it possible for all of us inside the mountain join together again with those of you outside the mountain in meetings of vibrations. I am part of a team that has been monitoring these vibrations since 2001. We will continue to do so in an ever increasing circle around, extending out from the mountain. The circle currently extends out from the mountain in a circumference of approximately 6 or 7 miles, with the second circle around that one that measures approximately 20 miles. We are measuring the vibrations of you as individuals and the planet as a whole. We are also measuring your intent, the intent of all beings to recognize and to move into the vibration of Lemuria again. We monitor the vibration with a bit of a trepidation because we are just as eager as you are, if not more so, to reach the vibration where we can all together be together again. Our understandings of your energy is a bit different than you understand ours. We have a greater scope of perception to understand you. We can see your energy fields as well as your physical bodies. We see your light bodies, your multi-dimensionality, and future aspects. We can see many more pieces of you than you can see of us at this time. The people of Telos who are following the progress and measuring the program and who are involved in anticipating the eventual outcome of this monitoring wish you to know how important your intent is and your recognition of all the multiple timelines is to this potential. The work you have done to recognize and the clear ancient traumas from the timelines has been so important to incarnating or creating a new opening, not only for Mount Shasta and the planet, but also for your higher selves to work through. So your higher selves have to come down, and this is where our energies and everything have to go up. This opening will allow you to integrate all of these aspects for you and to recognize them as we do. You will even recognize the future aspects of yourself, which are in truth here to anticipate right now. And that's where sometimes in my prayer I say, call in your future selves. Because there's a lot of different kinds of aspects and gifts and abilities you can call in and start getting used to that so you can move into the fifth dimension and be a part of that. All of what we are speaking in terms of the future has already happened. These aspects of yourself have already played their role. The goal now is to merge all of these timelines together vibrationally and experience the joy and reunion that has already been created and already exists around you. You may be called to Venus and gatherings of people interested in Lemuria and other metaphysical subjects, as each group, large or small, come together on the planet, whether they are groups who were formerly together in Lemuria and groups of times in Atlantis. They recognize and re-experience the vibrations they share together in a time and space, even if for just a moment. They gain much understanding from the recognition, and soon these groups will begin to come together and harmonize from even greater understandings. The new wisdom that each group opens to will create a harmony of purpose and cooperation between all groups. This is the type of loving energy that will rebirth the new Lemuria on Earth. In the past, there have been times of non cooperation, and we have all learned the painful lessons from them. We have, and you have, experienced all the premutations of human experience, and we can register in terms of duality, separation, and disharmony. Now is the time to remember and re experience the vibrations of harmony and to gain new understandings of potential for pure creative energies that this form of synthesis intent can bring. It is time for beings on this planet in all dimensions to reinvent themselves through the energies of unconditional love, harmony, and to explore just how far this vibration can expand on your planet. Inherent in this return to harmony, however, is an organic process of detox. that will occur in the physical and emotional bodies of new levels of love are reintroduced. As each of you integrate your divine essence and reestablish your connection to divine source, you will experience great shifts in your mental, physical, emotional structures. This is to be expected as you are transmuting old energies out of cellular level. That's why I say ask to burn up all the old energy in the sacral, the old 3D energies, and bring in the new stuff. This is to be expected as you're transmuting old energies out of cellular levels. We will do all that we can to support you through this process. The citizens of Telos want you to know that your journey now very much mirrors the journey that they themselves took when they created their new world within the earth following the fall of Lemuria. The cataclysms that we encountered greatly shifted us in the same way that you are being asked to shift now. The children of Telos are yearning even more than the elders to venture outside the mountain and learn about their brothers and sisters and experience a world that they have heard so much about. There must be a merging of energies now, and when the opening comes, we will journey out into the dimension in physical form. But it will not be exactly the same as your current physical form. It will be a different vibration. As we bring our vibrations closer to you, so must you move your vibrations close to ours to make this happen. Soon we will all merge our vibrations together in a new dimension. All energies and intents are focused on what's happening from beyond this planet and within. We ask you now to signal your same intents for those to happen. Each time that you have a recognition to remembrance of who you have been and who you have been and will be together, you signal your intent. Each time you open your heart to the mountain, to the elementals, and to the pictures we paint for you in the sky, to the ships that visit you and send you love and energy through the lenticular clouds. So when you see those really strange clouds, there's UFOs and they're trying to beam and send you energy, and you can feel the energy. It's different. And they're lenticular clouds, and they've been around for a long time, and they hide inside these clouds and they try to help us in all kinds of ways. And you'll see it above mountains and that. The strange lenticular cloud appears above certain mountains and they're generating energies. Verbalize your goals and hours and simply trust. The measuring period will begin to culminate. So it's, like I say, it's been an ongoing thing and we're slowly moving in that direction. Um, Many portholes will begin to open. The first visitations of those who can travel the most easily between dimensions will begin. Will prepare energy channels for those who will follow later. Many are involved in energetics with these porthole activities. Many of you have multi-dimensional aspects who are currently residing in Telos and other Lemurian cities who played dynamic roles in these activities. Open yourself to these energies. Begin to incorporate them into the aspects of you that is incarnated on the surface world. Honor the messages you receive and share them with others, as this will build a new energy of hope and trust that is to come. The planetary shift right now is accelerating on a very great scale. At the end of the 3 year period, there will be created a great access to some of the cities in the inner earth. Call on us, question us. We are here to guide. We're here to guide you. Just looking at the time and seeing where I am in this chapter. I'm going to try to just power through it and get this chapter done. Questions from the audience in Mount Shasta. The Telosians are multidimensional, as is the city in Telos. Did the Telosian phase shift the entire cities inside Mount Shasta at the time of the last volcanic eruption in Mount Shasta in the 1700s? So they're asking a question, did it affect them? The city that is inside Mount Shasta today is not the same city that was inside Mount Shasta prior to the last volcanic eruption in the 1700s. There is a dimensional shift at that time. The energies in eruption shifted major portholes and other energetic spots around the mountain. They were used for communication and travel. The etheric energies were not affected, but the physical shifting of the earth in terms of her needs and the meridian channels made it necessary for the Telosians to reconstruct and redirect various energy channels and portholes through and around the mountain. The heart of the city of Telos is located very deep within the mountain and is shielded dimensionally in such a way that it was not affected by the eruption. Some of the energetic structures around the mountain that allow access inside the mountain were affected greatly. Some portholes were closed and new ones created in different locations. Some portholes need repair energetically and still exist in their original location. We do not foresee this type of disruption happening again in the future. We understand Earth's energies and the need for the volcanic release that took place. We had forewarnings of the eruption and were able to make plans prior to the disturbances. And then it says, how can we help to make the openings happen so that the Telosians can come out of the mountain and we could be allowed in? First and foremost, it is about intent. And this is where I say it's your belief, your choices. And everybody's intent is important because that really affects how the earth and everything spiritually, everything that goes on, it is felt, it is known in throughout all of creation, all galaxies, everything. And it's very powerful the more people that do this. First and foremost, it's about intent. It is the knowing that this will happen and putting yourself in these energies so completely that you live them every day and bring vibrations into your daily life and the life of others around you. There will be ever increasing changes taking place on the earth that may make you feel that you are being thrown out of vibration you wish to hold, or even that you want to jump out of these energies to respond in other ways. You will soon witness the effects of much clearing within the emotional body. That's why we got to stop being emotional garbage dumps. Everybody wants to live in their emotion. You got to quit that. You got to change that. Everybody's like, oh, poor me. Always, oh, poor me. Oh, yeah, I know that. Oh, yeah, I know. People do that all the time in the new age healing. You will soon witness and experience effects of much clearings within the emotional body of both the Earth Mother and civilization that lives on her surface. You will encounter new levels of anger and violence on the surface, recognizing that this is part of the healing crisis that you are all going through. That's why people will blow up at you. They'll say all kinds of things. People will trigger your angers and your butt hurts and all this silliness. Do you want to keep being childish or do you want to change that and move on? Because we all got to figure this out and change it. Recognize that this is part of the healing crisis that you are going through. There is much that must be stripped away and detoxified that allows the new vibration to come in. And that's why people are fighting over their ancestral beliefs and all kinds of stupid things, like when they're saying pretend Indians and all kinds of stupid things. Like, it's really, really childish and dumb. Hold on to the energies that reside in the knowingness and love in your heart. Commit to the new energies of light flooding your planet at this time with all aspects of your being. Understand your physical body and emotions experience trauma, sadness, and overwhelm. That your totality is still living in the vibration of love and compassion. Know in your heart that you can connect back in with this vibration of love and compassion at any moment. That's where you pop in and out. Sometimes you get really angry. You're walking along and all of a sudden you're pissed off. And somebody walked by you and their energy affected you. And now they're really happy and you're in this lower vibration. You can shift right back in. That's why I'm like, oh, what affected my energy? Oh, this is not mine. I release it. I call back in all my goodness. And I do that in meditation groups and ceremonies and things all over. I'm constantly being attacked this way. And I'm like constantly trying to shift and be in this positive energy, trying to teach and hold positive, good energy for everyone. Ask for help from the guides and angels, from your family here in Telos, and from your star brothers that are also here to assist you. That's why I say call in the Star Brothers and Sisters. Call them in every day. Stop worrying about it. Yes, Miranda, it is really bad. Allow all of us who are here to support you and hold you in our embrace of love, and allow all of your feelings without conditions or judgments to release. That's where you can't say you're good or bad or this and that. You just got to move in and out of these energies. Yeah, I don't feel good. Okay, I can shift back into something else. But people will trap you. They'll make you miserable. They'll suck everything right out of you. Allow your energies, give permission to your energies to move again and flow with the divine grace. Ask each and every day for the release of all the stuck energies that block you from recognize the totality of who you really are in this moment. And you always have to do this. You got to be really come conscious of this. The journey here in the physical form at this time when the planet is transiting from third to fifth dimension fully as a physical, emotional. The goal is to learn to live consciously an increasing level of vibration at all times, as if your life is a walking meditation. That's where you got to learn to how to be in this connection to the universe all the time. That's what I have to do all the time. Take your dog for a good walk, man. The goal is to learn to live consciously in an increasing level of vibration at all times, as if your life is a walking meditation. Voice your intention to recognize and remain continually aware of the full totality of who you are and of the vibrations in which you chose to live. That's why you can't judge your past as a young teenager, or if you did bad things or if you did good things. You can't judge any of it. It is everything you are. And it all had to happen so you can be the person you're meant to be. If you can begin by simply hearing or seeing through us, through the mirrors that we provide you, you will always have a place to go to when you feel disillusioned, disconnected, or confused. That's why I say call on these higher beings. They'll help you to reconnect. Because there's times where I'm just like, I just want to quit all of this. I'm so sick of trying to teach people. It's been years and years of doing stuff with people, and they just treat me like garbage and everything. And I'm like, I'm so sick of it. I come on TikTok and people send stupid things at me and ask me dumb questions over and over, trying to irritate me and piss me off. And there's all kinds of people out there that just hate me, and they'll do anything to ruin my life. And I'm just constantly, like I say, I go to Sundance ceremonies, everything, trying to lift it for people, and all they want to do is bring it down and use me like a doormat and fucking shit on me and treat me like crap. And I'm just like, just keep on trying to do this over and over and over. And I'm hoping somewhere my energy will shift and people will start going up in that direction with me. If you can begin by simply hearing, seeing through us, the mirrors that we provide to you, you will always have a place to go. And when you feel disillusioned, disconnected, or confused, use us as your mirror until such a time as you see yourself clearly and with trust. Know what we can help you on your journey. We can hold the vibration for you to return it whenever you call us by expressing your intent. Adama, Ahnahmar, and many others hold classes every night in Telos, and you got to ask to go to these classes. Like, you got to ask for this. I do it all the time. Every night I go to sleep, I ask all kinds of things. And I go into dream time and do all kinds of stuff. You may ask before going to sleep and in your dreams to come here and receive teachings and healings and to connect with your own remembrance. And you have to remember who you are as God. Also, set your intention to remember upon returning to your normal consciousness all that you have experienced, so that what has been revealed to you in Telos may be remembered in your waking hours as well. And teach your children to do this. Teach your grandchildren to do this. Get them to do this at night, to say a prayer, to go to these places in the morning. Ask them about it so they can tell you about all these things that can help your family, help you all. It can bring more and more big energy in, can do lots of things. Most important is that you give yourself permission to experience, remember, and learn without judgment, without critical analysis. You are moving into a higher vibration that you may make these journeys to Telos, the vibration of trust and harmony. The information you desire can only be shared through the energetic field. A channel must be opened from our hearts to yours. This can be done only by vibration of trust and unconditional love. We must bring your vibration we must bring our vibration to meet yours. We will only do this from a place of love and openness. You cannot prejudice or set expectations for what will happen in these meetings. You must simply open yourself up as a conduit. And that's why I say I'm a conduit for lots and lots of blessings and things. Hey, Morning Star. And I try to allow all of this. People come on to receive things, and I don't. I just allow the universe to do this while I'm reading for all of you to receive whatever you guys need. You may speak to, or, okay, do not let your mind analyze the answer. Okay, I think I'm too far ahead of here again. You must simply open yourself up as a conduit to accept in grace all that we have to give you. You may speak to any one of us at any time. Ask your questions and listen. The answers may come back to you as a tone, or music, or a voice, or simply as knowingness. And this is where when I hear songs, I know they're giving me an answer. When I hear certain sounds and frequencies, I know they're doing something for me. And I pay attention to that. I've done it all my life. My granddad taught me this. Simply recognize and let the awareness grow. Let the recognition grow until the conversations you have with us become as commonplace to those of you with the physical brothers and sisters around you. Give yourself permission to do this now. And this is where you become telepathic. Methods you will share with us from Telos of rejuvenation. This is what I said. There's going to be temples where you can step in and you can reverse your age back to 30. You could be 100 years old, step into this machine, and you're going to be 30 years old when you step out. That's where you got to want to live for thousands and thousands of years. There's lots to learn and do. There will be temples of rejuvenation and healing in the areas of Mount Shasta that will be reactivated and reconsecrated to these purposes. The energy will flow again from them, from the earth herself, as well as from the elementals. And this is where you got to understand the elementals. I don't talk about them lots, and I will share little bits here and there about the elementals. But like I say, you got to connect with them, and they will teach you. They have connected with me throughout my life. I can go and sit in the forest, and they'll come and teach and show me all kinds of things. When I ask them to heal my body in the night, they come in and they help me with my organs, with my anything in my body. They come in because I give permission. New healing and rejuvenation techniques will emerge comprised of two elements. First, there will be initiated rituals of intent to fully engage the energies of the individual in the process of self-healing. And this is where I say you got to learn these practices. You got to learn how to do these things yourself. And there are going to be rituals and different kinds of things. The second element will be tools to utilize light and sound. These tools will be crystalline in nature, as the human form is not returning to its true crystalline matrix. Some of these tools will be in the form of helmets, and they're creating this already, Joe Dispenza and them. They're creating different kinds of things, as well as full body chambers. And there are things you can sit inside now that'll change your frequencies. There's those light beds you can lay inside with ultraviolet lights and things like that. There are full body chambers such as our sarcophagus, and that's what they have in the Great Pyramid. They have sarcophagus, and they're all around the world in different places. Welcome back, Nan. Hope your dog enjoyed its bathroom break. Some of these tools will be in the forms of helmets and full body chambers, such as sarcophagus, that you will remember from ancient Egyptian times. If you go to Palenque, there is a sarcophagus in Palenque, and there are others all over the world. They will be made out of intensely prismatic crystalline materials. So they're going to be made out of I don't know what kind of rock, but there's lots of them around the world, and they're going to activate them. And this is where I talk about toning. Sounding is a conductor for the energies of healing and renewal. That's why I don't play with toning. I don't mess around with singing bowls and all kinds of stuff. If I pick up a singing bowl and I hold it in my hand, I think about healing and light and love, and I send the energies up into the universe. I send it down into the earth, and I ask them, well, what do I need to do? And I'll use the bowl and I'll send energy out where it's needed. I do it one way for a period of time, and then when the bowl stops, I do it the reverse because they're spiral energies. And I send them up and out in different ways with prayers and thoughts and other things. And sometimes I need it, so I'll do it for myself, or sometimes for Cindy or other, or just to clear a whole area. I'll ask the universe, let me use a singing bowl to clear the area. And it doesn't matter who's there, they all get cleared. And this is where people want to play around with everything. I'm going to go to a cacao ceremony. We're doing singing bells and we're blowing our heart chakra open. I'm like, go ahead, you fools. Sound is a conductor for the energy of healing and renewal. Light represents all the various frequencies that we can resonate to. Sound penetrates dimensional layers and carries the high or frequency needed for healing through the different bodies, such as physical, emotional, etherical, and mental. And this is where I've gone to people who are supposed to be really good healers, and they got in my energy and they thought really bad things and they really harmed me. Just because they say they're healers doesn't mean they're good. I sat with people who had singing bowls and that and did things that did really, really bad things. Like I said, I was blown out of my body for 2 weeks, and the intention was to harm and destroy me. And it took really long to get back in my body. And these people were really gifted energy workers, and it was in a psychic fair. And for 4 days, they did really bad energies to me. And for 2 weeks, I was blown out of my body, just about destroyed me. Crystal has a very fine ability to transmit both sound and light. The healer and sometimes the individual who is being healed will work with multidimensional toning through the combination of voice. And this is where people are getting into breath and all kinds of stuff, and they're getting into different sounds and noises. And some people are really angry and they'll come in and they'll use anger when you're doing this, and you're going to feel really awful and terrible when it's done. You're going to feel so sick, and you're going to wonder why you ever went there. And the person's going to laugh at you. Some of them, they sit there and they wear white and they're angels. And oh my God, they're just these divine beings. They're scary. Some healers, sometimes the individual who's being healed, will work with multidimensional toning. And this is where people are getting into all kinds of toning. You hear people all over the world doing this kind of stuff through combinations of voice, musical instruments, and such as crystal flutes and bowls, and angels and elemental energies. And this is where, like I say, it's a free for all. Everybody's trying to get into it. All of these tones will then be transferred through a crystalline sound amplifier, and these are the new machines. We're going to take these sounds and use it right. That's why I say this thing gives off a sound and a frequency vibration that can really, really help and heal people. That tablet we had, it can do all of that. Very, very powerful things. And they're already here on the surface. People can use these things. Um, which refines the multi-tones into multiple level sounds that access the entire spectrum of sound simultaneously as conscious sound. This conscious sound will then entrain the space around it and act as a conduit for healing like frequencies, which will represent themselves through colors that are beyond the current spectrum of the human eyesight. They're way higher energy frequencies we're starting to bring in. People can't see it. Some people, when they see me as like a diamond energy. They see all these energies coming off me, and that's a way higher energy frequency. People want that, and they do all kinds of silly things to me trying to take this. And I'm like, get your own. Ask the universe and the earth for it. You don't need to steal from nobody. This conscious sound will then entrain the space around you and acts as a conduit of healing like frequencies, which will represent themselves through color that are beyond the current spectrum of human sight. In this way, the healing will take place in all bodies simultaneously. So all your different energy bodies will get a really powerful healing. Could be spontaneous transformation. There will be smaller tools as well. Some will be worn on the body, others will be carried. Some will be used in daily meditations or simply placed around the individual's home. Many of you are already using these types of tools. These new devices will be more refined in their uses than the ones you already have. Some tools will be created for an individual at the time of incarnation that will stay with the person throughout the lifetime. Others will be shared among family members to hold the harmonics of a family group. And these are these future things we're going to be creating. And they're going to come in fast now with the age of Aquarius, science, and all these other things. They're going to create these things very, very quickly. What can I do as an individual to raise my vibration? Each of you who desires can and have a guide in Telos assigned to you. Simply make the request and connect through the heart. Ask to meet your guide and communicate with him or her on a regular basis. Use your guide as a tuning fork for the vibrations that you are trying to harmonize with. Each of you also has individual responsibilities in terms of your own clearing. That's why I always say clearing. I do clearings. If you want that, I will do everything to clear your energy and bring in anything and everything new. And I'll try to channel and give you all kinds of help and answers. And Cindy, and we use all kinds of things to help people. Everybody has to start learning to clear their energies. I want to teach people that, but I don't want to teach it to bad people. I'm sick and tired of bad people showing up trying to learn this and then go and use it wrong just so they can fill their bank accounts or be movie stars or rock stars and have head buns and all kinds of silly things and get on TikTok and think they're ancient masters and stuff. I want to teach people lots and lots of things. Each of you also has individual responsibility in terms of your own clearing. You have all come here to clear energies that impede you from reaching the vibration and a level of enjoyment in incarnation at this that is new to you. And these are new energies, but you can't have them to get the old crap out. Each time you clear old energies or heal old emotional patterns, you create openings for new and expanded energies to come in. In addition, the clearing provides a release for everyone on the planet. Each of you holds a different piece of a group of consciousness that you volunteer to clear for humanity and for the planet. This is an important task, and it is time to recognize it and also acknowledge and trust that we hold in you to accomplish this. You are not in Telos at this moment, and there is a good reason for this. And this is where on Sunday when I pray, I want you all to shift into this, and while I'm praying and that, waving my feather, using the thing as I'm trying to clear and getting angels to do a lot of things for all of you while I'm praying and doing stuff. You have all volunteered to be here in physical incarnations to help in the healing of the planet, in the freeing of humanity from the consciousness of pain and separation. Your work is here. The vibrations you have agreed to bring to this planet must be experienced here. Those who come after you will look to you to clear the way for them. Each time you clear a grief or a trauma of eons ago from your emotional body, you also clear it from the Earth Mother's emotional body. All of us in different dimensions are here to support you in this journey as we honor the time and energy that this journey takes. It is our great pleasure to shower you with love while you do this important work. In the distant past, there was a greater understanding of how we existed within the universe. You understand how to connect and operate within the sphere and the flow of God's source. You understood that. You understand the grid of energies that we operate within the matrix of the body self and of all the bodies. This knowledge is now being right away. The final message in honor of Telosians, the Master Saint Germain. And it says, "Greeting, dear friends, I am Saint Germain, the guardian of the violet flame and the one who champions your victory. It was this very precious flame of the violet frequency that a long time ago initiated and ignited the ascension energies for this planet. I am here at this time with Adam and the Lemurian Council of Telos and a large gathering of Lemurian family and other beings of light realm. This is, dear ones, for your Lemurian brothers and sisters of Telos to be honored and acknowledged for the wonderful work they have done for this planet for so very long. They are the ones, along with others, who have diligently kept the focus of the ascension flame for the planet in the last 12,000 years, while the surface population busied themselves warring against each other. Had it not been for your wondrous and dedicated Lemurian family beneath Mount Shasta and other cities of our Gatha network who nurtured the flame of ascension on behalf of the surface population, the potential you are manifesting now may not have happened. The law of balance between receiving and giving requires that certain emanations of energy light must be generated and mirrored back to the Creator by a receiving planet and its inhabitants. In recognition of the gratitude for the tremendous amount of love and light energy sent from Source, this is a cosmic law. For many thousands of years, the surface population of the Earth reflected very little light back to the Father, Mother, God, and in exchange for all the light and love they were receiving in support of the third dimension continuity of the planet and their evolution on it. The ascension flame of the ascension flame and the violet flame, beloved ones, may have a different frequency, but they both held or led to the ascension, complementing each other very effectively. They are connected together, and both flames of freedom in their own frequencies. Any energy expressed as less than divine love can be transmuted by the violet flame. And this is where I'm telling people now, start trying to use this when you go to sleep at night, when you wake up. Try to do it. If you go into negativity and that, try to call in this violet flame and stuff like that. At this time, all of those of humanity choosing ascension as your next step will be given the opportunity to present themselves to God presence and to the office of Christ, headed by the Master Maitreya and Sananda. And Sananda is one of the masters, and they say he came in and he became connect with Maitreya and Sananda to go up into these higher planes. So this is where having this knowledge, you can help yourself in this way. Hey, attempt 01. So Maitreya and Sananda are really important, like when you're wanting to go up in these higher planes. So wanting them to come in and help in different ways, working with the violet flame and the ascension flame, because they're different energies and they will help us in different ways. The necessary initiations will then be presented to you in your daily life to prepare you for this sacred event. At the time of your ascension, your entire consciousness and life stream will be literally drenched in a fire of that ascension. Where any energy still vibrating with less than pure love will be totally consumed by the flame. Then only pure light will remain. This is how, my friend, you will embrace the eternal birthright of living your life as pure beings of love and light, enjoying eternal peace, bliss, immortality, and limitlessness. If you have integrated appropriate levels of love and light in your causal body and in all your subtle bodies, you will be totally transformed as an ascended master by those processes. For those who have not yet reached that level of evolution, you will have the opportunity for additional incarnations within which to walk the path of love and reach a level of ascension you desire. What would happen to the soul who has not garnered enough love and light in their causal body to be put through the process of the ascension flame? Well, my friend, if the soul is not ready to embrace such a process, the end result could mean the dissolution of the soul. The ascension flame consumes the ascension flame consumed by its nature all that is anti-light and anti-love. All that is held in the soul must be embraced and allowed to breathe in the vibration of understanding. So this calling in this energy to help you is going to start cleaning up and helping you with hundreds of thousands of lifetimes of karma, all kinds of stuff, and start helping you. You got to also download this new hardware and other things, and that's where in the next book is protocols and that. So once I finish this, I'll go into the protocols, and we'll see the different things it's trying to help you to understand, to prepare yourself with. Otherwise, there would then be nothing left of the soul. So you need this thing to help to transmute all those negative things. All must be accepted, recognized, allowed before this final step is taken. Otherwise, there would then be nothing left of that soul. If it were allowed to go through the process before it has embraced the initiation of the path of unconditional love and light. The opportunity for ascension for everyone has never been made so easily available to mankind as it is at this time. Because the Lemurians have kept the vigil on your behalf for so very long, they have paved and smoothed the way for all of you to enter in. It was Lemurian friends, these precious souls, who returned to the light to God daily on behalf of mankind for thousands of years. This is why the seat of Ascension Flame, the headquarters of Ascension for the planet, is now in Telos. The Great Pyramid of Giza held the Ascension Flame focus for a very long time on this planet. Though Giza is still holding an important ascension focus in Egypt, it is mainly the Telosians who are now in charge of the Herculean project and have taken this mantle for the planet. They work very close with Serapis Bey, the Kohan of the Ascension Flame, and their work together becomes a co-creation in service to mankind. But the Lemurians were the ones who were in sufficient numbers to keep the Ascension Flame burning bright on behalf of the humanity until this day. And that's where it said in the things transferred in 1970 something to this continent, and it's anchored here now, and this is part of the Telos energies and that. Hey, Danny Spoons, good to see you here. So sufficient numbers to keep Ascension Flame burning bright on behalf of humanity until this day. Thousands of years ago, many of us were not yet ascended. I, Saint Germain, was not yet ascended, but the Lemurians took on the task as wayshowers for us all. In the light realms, we bow to them as the elder brothers and sisters and deeply honor them in their love, their courage, and this wonderful service they have given to the planet. On behalf of the various brotherhoods of light realm, I also wish to honor Adam and his divine complement, Galatea in Telos, who has also incarnated on the surface as Aurelia, for their long service to mankind on the planet. They are the original father, mother of humanity. Your biblical figures, known as Adam and Eve, the story of Adam and Eve, that most of you are familiar with, reflect very little, if any, the real truth of the wondrous story of the first chapter of a long Lemurian history. Perhaps this will be material for the future publications, as the true story of Adam and Eve would certainly enlighten mankind in a very different way than what you have been taught by the historians and scholars of this planet. Adama and Galatea, Ariella, we all love you very much. On behalf of all the beings in Light Realm, we express our deep gratitude for the millions of years of service to mankind on and within this planet Earth. For most of you on the surface, Lemuria, the cradle of enlightened civilization on this planet, has been motherland of her own evolution. For hundreds of thousands of years, you've evolved there in a state of paradise and bliss, until as a collection you chose to experience separation and duality. Now the consciousness of Lemuria in its full splendor of glory is opening her heart to you again, to bring you home to a land and love of your heart. The energies of Lemuria and her people our former family, is imprinted in every cellular structure of your DNA, your cellular memory. Lemuria as it exists today is a heritage that you have been seeking lifetime after lifetime. I, Saint Germain, say to all of you, reach for Lemuria's vibration and find the lost paradise within inside yourself. All the keys for your return have always remained within your heart. They were never removed from you. Reactivate those treasures within yourself, and you will discover your Lemurian family, awaiting your return and ready to meet you halfway. I, Saint Germain, am always at your side. I love you so very much. I champion your victory until the completion of your ascension. Though I have my main focus elsewhere, I spend much time in Shasta, in Telos, what you call the New Lemuria, in full support of Lemurian mission for the ascension and restoration of this planet and humanity to the divine grace, though I have had several incarnations of leadership roles in Atlantis. I am also Lemurian. Join me there in love and harmony. And then the channeling of Adama. At the present time, there is increasing number of people claiming to be channeling Adama on the internet. All kinds of messages are floating around in the name of Adama. In some cases, I know these to be authentic, while in other instances, they are not. I take no responsibility for any information that is published by other people in the name of Adama or Ahnahmar. The information may or may not be authentic. Since the Telos books Volume 1 and 2 have been published in French language, there is a surprising number of people who suddenly claiming they have now become new channels of Adam and Ahnahmar. There are those who have even claimed that they have become my replacement. There are all kinds of channeled information now circulating on the internet, especially in the new group published in the name of Adama. Some are sweet and appear to be coming from the heart, while others are simply erroneous and not in the Lemurian vibration. Fortunately, this is very confusing for all serious truth seekers, for those who have not yet developed enough discernment to distinguish the difference between what is authentic and what is not. Adama is often asked questions by people desiring to gain a level of discrimination regarding channeled information written in his name. People want to know who they can trust and how to tell the difference between those who are truly channeling Adama and those who are simply channeling themselves and other entities of lesser vibration posing as Adama. It is not always easy for me either to discern as authentic and who is not, or judge the intentions of others, as judgments are always traps. Each person must exercise their own discernment, thus gain their stripes in spiritual mastery. And that's where you can feel an energy when it's the truth. You can literally feel this energy vibration. When people come on and they connect with me, they feel an energy. Some people get very afraid. Some people make themselves believe all kinds of things. But all I'm doing is allowing energy to flow to everybody. Like I say, you can tell an energy off a person really easy if they're spiritual or not. It's not hard to figure out. You can feel it. You know if it's good, bad, right, or wrong. And like I say, it doesn't take much to figure it out. And there's a lot of charlatans and deceivers and misleaders and all kinds of tricksters and that out there. And trying to be careful is one of the biggest things. But people just want to jump into everything so people will like them. And you know, they'll if everybody's walking around like chickens and clucking, and they're all clucking, everybody's going to start doing that too, because they want to be liked and they want to be part of the group. And this is part of humanness, is trying to do that. And so everybody's strutting around like roosters and peacocks, and they're crowing and they're flashing their pretty feathers, and everybody's like, but I want to be a peacock too. And they're all prancing around making fools of themselves, pretending to be channelers and enlightened healers and masters, and they're wearing turbans and doing all kinds of things to gather people and do this little duck dance or prance or whatever you want to call it. It is not always easy for me either to discern who is authentic or who is not, or judge the intentions of others, as judging is always a trap. And that's really a big one for me. Is hard not to judge things. And usually I'll say something and it's a truth, and people are like, oh, this guy is this and this and this. And then later, like, oh, what you said came true. I'm like, yeah, I know that. But people a lot of times will attack me, and sometimes they'll say things because the universe wants me to do that, but then people take offense by it. And like I say, everybody has their own, and when you judge, you trap yourself. You bring yourself into a lower energy and you hold yourself stuck there. Each person must exercise their own discernment and thus gain their stripes in spiritual mastery. So if you were to look at my auric energy, you'd see all kinds of colors, you'd see all kinds of things, you'd see the energy moving in that, because I always pray and always do things, and I believe, and I've searched my whole life to find answers and help. So I had to do a lot of discernment when I was reading, studying, and learning, because people never made it easy, and I had a lot of challenges. So I did the work. Here is what Adama has to say. For various reasons which must remain unknown to you, I would like to state that at this time, I do not authorize anyone other than Aurelia Louise Jones to channel me officially with the intention. So Ariel is not on the planet no more. So I don't know who is channeling him at this moment, who's a true authentic person. I haven't searched it out. But maybe I will eventually do that and see who's bringing through what. Because some people, they channel Sananda and other kinds of masters and that too. So there's a lot of them out there, but you will really feel that energy and know what is the truth. For various reasons which must remain unknown to you, I read that already, or for participation in public presentations in my name. So there's, at that time he wasn't doing it, but now he's probably doing it through other people. If this permission were granted indiscriminately, it would make it extremely difficult for those who have not yet attained the level of spiritual development necessary to discern which information is accurate and authentic, which is not. The risk of our teachings becoming distorted and biased once more at the hands of those who have not yet received the initiation and inner training to bring forth information would greatly increase. I would also create an invitation to those who have a personal agenda to corrupt our teachings again with non-truths, as they have consciously done in the past. And the darkness is always putting viruses and things in. So it's at one point it'll go negative. And then they find a lot of bad people to distort and teach it wrong. Like I said, I went to a cryon gathering of people who did cryon studies when I was on Denman Island. And I came across these cryon books, and I was blown away by what I read in them. I'm like, holy crap, like I want to sit with people who know this. And I found out there was a group of them. And I went to this cryon meeting, and we read this stuff, and then they all started interpreting it. And by the time it got back to the person, I'm like, that is not what it said. And I'm arguing with all of these people, and they're all telling me the most insane, crazy things, and they're all agreeing. And I'm like, don't you understand what this is saying? It's really, really simple. It tells you exactly what it says, and what you guys are all saying here has nothing to do with what you read on in this book. And they got really mad at me, and I'm like, I ain't coming back here. You guys are crazy, man. And this is where a lot of people will read things and distort and alter and change it. And then they become the gurus and teachers. The risk of teaching becomes distorted and biased once more at the hands of those who have not yet received the initiation and inner training of bringing forth information would greatly increase. It would also create an invitation to those who have a personal agenda to corrupt our teachings again with non-truths, as they have consciously done in the past. This is why our original teachings are no longer in existence. They had been corrupted again and again by those who do not have the clarity or integrity of intentions these teachings require. We certainly do not want to see this happen again. And that's where even in the Bible, they took lots of things out of the Bible, even about reincarnation. They changed really lots of things to create fear and distortion. And they use the Bible as a weapon of fear. If your teachings that carry the Lemurian consciousness, which originally came from divine source, are permitted to be brought forth by too many people, these teachings may become distorted again, especially those wanting to simply profit from a theme that has become popular. And that's what spirituality is. Not everybody is profiting. And a lot of them are distorting and changing and altering and doing different kinds of things. And there's people that, they're reading and doing things, and then they're doing all kinds of stuff and they have no idea of anything. I went to a channeling in Edmonton in the 90s. Somebody said, oh, there's this channeler you have to come and see. And I was part of this group of people. And so I said, okay. And it was $20 to go to this channeling. And I thought, wow, $20. And we went in there and the energy was just the weirdest, insane energy. And everybody's like, you feel it? I'm like, yeah, whatever this is not good. And this place was all mirrored. It was some kind of like a ballerina school or something. And this person chose to do these channelings there, and everybody was hearing about it. And so she's talking. And I knew this one really bad guy, and he was sitting there next to her. And I'm like, why is he here? People know he's really bad. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And I'm like, whatever she's channeling and bringing through, I want nothing to do with it. So I call in my angels and I ask them to protect me and help me see things. And then she started doing these grunts and these really, really stupid noises. And then she was saying this guy was going to become an ascended master and he was going to do all this and do all of that. And she was putting him way up here. And I'm like, but he's cheated people. He's done really lots of bad things. Why are you saying the universe is going to put him up here? And then she started this channeling, and I don't know what it was, but there was some terrible energies coming. When I was done, I was like, man, I gotta smudge and clean my energy. I ain't ever going around there, and I want nothing to do with those people. It would also create an invitation for those who have personal agendas to corrupt our teachings again with non-truths, as they have consciously done in the past. This is why our original teachings are no longer in existence. They have been corrupted again and again by those who do not have the clarity or integrity of intentions these teachings require. We certainly do not want to see this happen again. If our teachings that carry the Lemurian consciousness, which originally came from divine source, are permitted to be brought forth by too many people, these teachings may become distorted again, especially by those wanting to simply profit from the theme that has become popular. This would cause much confusion in the hearts and souls of those we are trying to reach and those who are truly trying to reach us. That's where I never shared these books, even though I knew them for years. And then it's just like I read the Keys of Enoch. I never shared that either. And then it's all of a sudden read these. So I'm sharing it with all of you guys. And this has been years I've known about all these things. This is why for the undetermined amount of time, we are limiting ourselves to Aurelia, who has a birth path contract to do this work with us. And some people contract to be channelers, like Lee Carroll was one who contracted bringing in the Cryon messages. Jay-Z Knight contracted the Ramtha, so Ramtha channels through her. And there are other beings on the planet who are doing these, working with these higher energies, and you will know, you will feel the energy, you will know if it's coming from the universe or if it's something distorted and wrong. Those who channel me without the proper preparation and without the specific invitation to do so, beyond offering an occasional message to their small group or to give comfort to someone in need of assistance, may be representing only an illusion, because I am not always present. And if I am present, it does not mean that it is always appropriate for me to bring forth messages. That's where sometimes channelers, you can't just turn them on and off like a TV. And There's times where these masters and that got lots of things to do, and people, you'll see them turn off and on just like turning on a TV or whatever, and they're like a movie. You can just turn it on, watch a movie and shut it off. And there's really lots of people now all over saying they're channelers, they're this, they're that. And you can literally, like, soon as I go near somebody, I can tell you right away by the energy. Doesn't take much to figure out. Yeah, you're not connected to Cryon for some reason, Tipson. That's why your vibration, because Cryon has a certain vibration, and you have to want to match it. And you have to go really deep with the information. I went to Cryon channelings in Edmonton. I went to 3 of them. And if I am present, it does not mean that it is always appropriate for me to bring forth a message. We do not wish the hearts of those hearing the channel to be contacted by anything other than the highest integrity of Lemurian energies, and certainly not in the guise of Ahnahmar and others and myself from Telos, if this is not the truth. And this is where I want the light going to all of you. So whatever you're receiving is coming from up there, and I'm just reading, being that hollow bone conduit, so you guys can receive, get your downloads, connect with these higher truths. All channelings that are not authentic hold a vibration of personal agenda and can become spiritual traps. Cindy recognized this morning because she's read different books about Saint Germain, and she's questioning different people and what they say, and she's trying to put this piece of puzzle together, and she realized it really big this morning. And a really good one was the guy she read in the past in Penticton, and he had read lots of books, and he was reading, and he was told to stop, and he didn't. He created this whole church and everything, and it went really, really crazy what he was channeling, because he was only supposed to bring in so much and then stop it. But then he created all this stuff. I can't remember what his name was, but Cindy bought all these books and read them, and his stuff is still out there. But like I say, he went into his ego, and entities came in, and then it went all crazy. It wasn't from the light anymore. It was, yeah, Godfrey Ray King. That's it. And you can read about it, and you can, because there's truths in there, but at some point he crossed the line, and the negative came in and gave a virus, and everything went really, really crazy. Yeah, there's lots of stories around Joshua ben Joseph, and this is where they say he's Jesus, they say he's this, they say all kinds of things. Like, it was a little Jewish guy that got nailed to this cross, and in his time he was alive, he was known as the person Joshua ben Joseph. And then he resurrected his body in the cave, and he came out in his light body, and he showed there was life after death, and he walked around for 2 weeks, and he was trying to help the whole world to realize this. And we're all supposed to take our bodies into light. And this is where you ascend. You become pure light. You become this higher vibration. And then 300 years later, they're, well, let's call him this. Let's call him that. Let's get the whole stupid world to pray to all kinds of things. And this is where I always question all of this. And this is where I try to figure out things, and I spend years reading and looking for answers. And it's very hard to find when you're trying to look back 2,300 years to actually find a truth, because they put a lot of viruses and deceit and lies and deceptions and traps. They know everything, how to stop you from connecting to all these higher truths. And they've removed it and removed it and removed it and put all their darkness in there. Just like when yoga came to the West, it got corrupted by the darkness. And it is connected to the darkness. That's why people can only go so high. And if you really want to be a yogi and practice yogi, first thing, think about, you have to become celibate. You have to give up everything in your life. And you got to go into, like all these yogis, you go into India and places, they've left their homes, they left their families, they left their business, and they walk around with a turban and whatever, and they have a little bowl. They don't have money, they don't buy food, and all they do is sit and pray and meditate. They don't look for sex, they don't look for drugs, they don't look for booze, they don't do anything worldly. All they do is focus on connecting with Creator. So if you want to do yoga, you got to get off of all these yoga lulu, pretty, you got to dress up to go to do yoga. And then you do the Care Bear farts, and everybody breathe it in. You get high, bliss out, get stoned, drink some wine, and you activate your base chakra. You go and have orgies. You drop your energy, and then you go back and you do all of this yoga again. That's darkness. It's not about the light. Really, really study the truth about yogis. If you want to be a practicing yoga, other than that, don't fool yourself. Don't spend your money and go there and do that. Other than that, you can do the exercise at home. You don't need to buy expensive clothes to go hang out with other people that are just doing the Care Bear fart. Don't bliss out and waste your energy and time. And if I am present, it does not mean that it is always appropriate for, okay, I read that. There are those who have used my photograph and have written, I haven't finished here, I think. We do not wish the hearts of those hearing the channel to be contacted by anything other than the highest integrity of Lemurian energies, and certainly not in the guise of Ahnahmar and others and myself and Telos, if it is not the truth. There are those who have my photograph and have written sales pitches in my name to promote their products and their scams. Please know, dear ones, that I do not participate in such endeavors, and that I am certainly not a salesman, especially for those without integrity. Like, really think about it. You don't have to waste your time doing all kinds of silly things. Qigong is really good. Qigong and Tai Chi are really, really good, Mirinda. Very good practices. All channelings that are not authentic hold a vibration of personal agenda that can become spiritual traps. Be aware, my friend, that many of those who contribute to destruction of both continents are still in incarnation at this time. And there's a lot of people from Lemuria and Atlantis that nearly destroyed this planet and are trying to take it back into the darkness. They want it to stay in the darkness. They like violence. They like wars. They like death. They like hurting people. They like doing bad things. And you meet these people, and some of them are even your family, relatives, friends. Some people are your bosses and that, and they're just plain nasty. So, destruction of both continents are still in incarnation at this time, and many among them are determined to stop the light from coming in. This is where you got to become the light. You really, really have to want to become the light. And for a lot of people, practice Qigong, practice Tai Chi, get away from yoga and things. Like, do it for yourself, not to show off, not to, oh, look at my Lululemons. Isn't it so beautiful? And all this other silliness. It's like these fads and these things. It's like, stop wasting your energy. They also want to stop the Lemurian emergence in any way they can, and this is what they're trying to do. That's why they're putting up towers or doing things all over the world, generating an energy, trying to shut everything down and stop us. But it's not going to happen. They will often disguise themselves as angels of light, coming to your rescue and making you all kinds of alluring offers. I ask you not to be deceived and always check with discernment in your heart. That's why when I go places, if somebody says this person's really good, I'll go there and I'll really, really check it out. And if they're not good, I'll tell people. I won't waste my time, and I'll never send a person someplace unless they need to learn a lesson. Unless the universe says they have to go here to learn something, and then I'll send them. Other than that, I'll say, look, don't waste your time, don't go there. And if they go there and they start being a part of that, then I'm like, I don't want you around me. This time, my friends, the stakes are too high for the planet and for your own personal evolution. Be aware that you will be confronted with tests of discernment in more ways than one, and this is what I get tested all the time. Do not buy into victim consciousness. This is where that poor me bullshit, oh, poor me. I want you to hear about poor me. Don't do that. Don't buy into the victim conscious. Become sovereign in your divine power as masters. And like I say, you got to become God. You have to become the master. I want to share that it is always my great pleasure to connect and talk with you directly in your heart. And this is where you can go to this school in the night and you can come back with all kinds of knowledge, all kinds of stuff. But you got to have permission to share it. Just because you're channeling doesn't mean you got to run around like a little rooster crowing in the morning. Cock-a-doodle-doo, 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 trying to make everybody stare at you. That's not what it's about. If you're really a shaman, you walk around, nobody knows you're a shaman. If you're really a spiritual healer and that, nobody knows you're that. Like there's a lot of elders and that out there, really, really good shaman. And you could be standing right next to them, you wouldn't even know it. They don't tie-dye their hair. They don't wear head buns. They're not wearing diaper pants and malas. And they're not posing on corners with a big neon sign saying, look at me, I'm a shaman. It's not the way. I don't do that. I just walk around. I'm in places people don't see me. I could be in a place for years, and one day somebody shows up and it's like, when did you come around? Where were you? And I'm like, I've been here for years doing stuff. It's like, well, how come I only found out about you now? Because the universe didn't want you to connect with me. And it's true. I can go in an area and people will not know I'm even there. Sometimes I am present in your gatherings, radiating my energy and my love to you all. But I remain silent and unnoticed. For us, the energy we bring is often more important to your transformations than words. Many times words can be limiting. I ask you to receive and cherish these precious moments and hold what is shared deep within your heart. Do not have to broadcast on the internet or elsewhere everything you receive directly from us. Very often the transmissions is directed to those present and is appropriate only for them at this time and not intended for public dissemination. I also want to add that in Telos, I am the one who has volunteered to enter the public eye. The others, especially Ahnahmar, are not yet chosen to go public like I did, simply because their time has not yet come. Ahnahmar does not wish at this time to have his photo commercialized or go public other than in an occasional channeling here and there with Aurelia, the beloved of his heart and for her writings. Ahnahmar and myself are certainly not interested in bringing forth messages through these beings who do not manifest their lives in the integrity and transparency of the Lemurian vibration. We are happy to give you personal messages when your heart tunes into our hearts in your meditation. It is important that you learn to discern when those messages can be shared with others and when they should not. All messages from us and from other beings of light realms always contain keys of wisdom. That's why they say read between the lines, because if something really feels important to you, meditate and think about it. Because you're going to end up channeling something. And that's the way the light works. And it's really, really into meditate and think about it. Because you're going to end up channeling something. And that's the way the light works. And it's really, really interesting. That when you do mantras, there's hidden things in there. And if you really, really understand there's something there, and if you meditate on it, you're going to get a really, really amazing experience. And what I'm doing here by reading this net, there's things there that's going to come in for you, and it's going to trigger things, and you're going to go, whoa, this is really important. And if you were to sit and meditate or call in these beings or this energy and that, you're going to find all kinds of things going on, and it trigger things, and you're going to go, whoa, this is really important. And if you were to sit and meditate or call in these beings or this energy and that, you're going to find all kinds of things going on. We are happy to give you personal messages when you're tunes into our hearts in your meditation. It is important that you learn to discern when those messages can be shared with others and when they should. Like I said, I know those books since they came out. But here I am now, 2025, reading it to people through TikTok. And I'm going to put those videos there. So if you missed a lot of this, you can listen to this. They'll be all on recordings for you. You can, like I say, go to a site and you can access this and um, uh, hear the whole book or whatever. All messages from us and from other beings of light realm always contain keys of wisdom that you need to integrate for your advancement or point the way of to your steps in your path of self-realization. It is always more important to integrate fully what you have already received, and that's why I say you got to integrate it. You can't just say, "Oh, I know, I know, I know, I know." And people do that. There's this big light bulb that goes, "Oh, I know." It's like a big foghorn on the ocean, and it's dark and foggy, and it goes. Brrr. When I'm around people with this, "I know, I know, I know," I get so irritated. I'm like, "Why did you come here? Like, did you come to me to learn something? Or did you come here to teach me?" And I get these 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds showing up who don't know anything. They still don't even know how to wipe their asses. And half the time their heads are so stuck so far up their ass they don't even know, they can't even breathe. And so sometimes there's these people around and they show up and then they think they're my teachers. And I'm like, I've been on this earth over 60 years and I put my whole life into learning, searching, reading, studying. And I didn't just wake up today and pick up a book and say, "Oh, chakras, oh, crystals." I've been doing this since I was a little boy. My granddad taught me to search for knowledge. And I put my whole life and desire into finding answers to help people. So if you're showing up in my life and you want to teach me something, take that "I know" foghorn and go somewhere else and go brrrr, and prance around like a turkey or a chicken and cluck and dance and do whatever. But please don't teach me. I am tired of people. Unless you integrate in your consciousness what you have already received, it becomes clutter in your mind and does not always serve you. And you guys, I know real lots of people that got photographic memory. They'll read something and they'll tell me something, and there's no energy. They haven't integrated it. They haven't figured it out. They don't live it. They don't practice it. They don't breathe it day and night in their sleep, in their wake time. They don't do anything. And they just spew it out like they're vomiting puke. And they're just spraying it everywhere, thinking it smells like perfume. And it's like, man, you guys got to wake up. You better integrate this. Don't say "I know it" anymore. You better want to practice and try to figure out and make this a part of you. You better bring that energy in at night. Go to the violet flames in the fifth dimension. Go to these masters, these teachers. And don't get up and say, "You know." Because the older I get, the lesser I know. The more I study, the more I find out, the more I understand, the dumber I seem to be. Because there's so much more to learn all the time. And like I say, the meditations, whatever, it's really easy to do these things. It doesn't take much work. The heart of Lemuria resides in each of you, recognized or not. It is your sacred mission, along with Aurelia and those who work alongside her, to help you awaken once again to the totality of your divinity and the sacredness of your own journey. Your willingness to open to the energies that may stretch your understanding should never be threatened by feelings of insecurity regarding the source of these energies. Therefore, we will continue to remind you and let what you hear and what you read ring bells of truth in your heart. And this is where you will know it. And it's going to keep ringing that. It's going to keep doing something. And eventually, this energy and everything is going to become a part of you. And wherever you go, people are going to feel and know that. For here and only here does authenticity reside. Only with your heart may you discern all the many vibrations of divine and determine which is most appropriate for you in the now moment. Never hesitate to ask us for guidance in your heart. We will always answer. That's where I say the heart cannot lie. The brain can. Brain's really good at it. Like I say, it's got so many theaters in there, and you can dance around and play in there and make people believe and think anything. But if you're in your heart, there's no lie, no bullshit.